lender or private money partner to help fund the deal. So a little bit about the target market and the forecast. So the biggest segment of the glamping population is 18 to 32-year-olds. They make up about 43% of the market. And then a very up and coming age group is the 33 to 50-year-olds. They're starting to really expand. Now, they look to glamping for different things, but this resort is going to do both, because this resort is going to give the unique experience-based travel adventures that the younger age group is looking for, while still providing the comfort, privacy, luxurious accommodations the older age group is looking for. And why Calaveras County? Well, tourism has been on the rise. Not only has Calaveras County rebounded from COVID numbers, they've rebounded from pre-COVID numbers. So in the past few years, from 2019 to 23, they've experienced a 17.2% growth in tourism revenue. And again, why Christmas movies and Hallmark and Lifetime and Netflix style Christmas movies as opposed to other ones? Well, their popularity has really surged in recent years. As I mentioned previously, the Hallmark Channel has been one of the top cable network for the past 11 years. Christmas movie streaming has grown from 90 million in 2021 to 121 million in 2023. And the Hallmark Channel actually launched a Christmas movie themed cruise. It sold out in 5 hours. They added a second ship because there was so much demand.
This is a year-round thing?
Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
And then the second cruise also sold out in 5 hours. So there's a huge popularity and a huge need for something to cater to this group. They also have Hallmark movie themed hotel rooms and those sell out as well. Those are seasonal. Those are just at Christmas in certain big city locations across the United States. There's like 3 different hotels. So let's dig into the financials. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a lender or private money partner for just under $190,000 to basically acquire, develop the land. This is somewhat of a ground up development. One of the most expensive things is electricity, because the electricity is at the road. It's not actually on the property right now. And I called PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric. They wouldn't give me an exact number because they're not allowed to do so. However, when I said, based on my research, it's sounding like it'll be about $150,000, the lady on the phone said, you're probably about right. So that's where I got that number. The idea is that we would take a loan for 5 years, amortized at 12% over the 30 years, and then refinance out at the end of the 5 years to pay off the loan based on our revenue. A little bit about the startup expenses. So right now the purchase price is $299. Putting together some tent platforms, some prefab shower and bathrooms, tents. The septic is a question mark because there's already a septic that's unpermitted put onto the property by a previous owner. So the septic cost, if I can convince the county to permit it, quite substantially. Furnishing the tents, portable HVACs. It does get hot and cold in this location, so we want to make sure our guests are comfortable. Electric fireplaces for mood. Lot clearing. There's already been a lot of lot clearing and trails cut into the property, but we'd want to do a little bit more of that. And also we do have to clear the property every year to keep us safe from fires. The good news is there's already a fire break completely around the property, so that's very helpful. And then I have 10% contingency and 10% reserves. Projected monthly expenses are, it's about $9,553. And the reason I know what the monthly expenses would be, because this was a question I got when people were initially reviewing the offer, is because I've already had 4 years of experience working with a lot of these companies. And I've called and verified, what their monthly expense would be for something like a resort. And then finally, our analyzed projections on revenue. I'm a little bit of a conservative underwriter. Glamping resorts tend to charge a little bit more per night than what these projections are based on. So my projections are based on $150 a night fee. However, originally I had it projected at $199, but I took it down to $150 just in case. So at $150 a night, our cash on cash return first year would be 8.96. I think after year one and we build a following and we build things up, we can definitely go to 199 and higher and get that up to like 19.5%. Most glamping resorts charge anywhere from the 199 to really high end up to like $799 a night. So glamping resorts are a little bit more. It's tough to find comps because there's not a lot of these types of resorts out there yet. And mine is even more unique. So I'll be working more on that. Let's talk a little bit about the risks and the exit strategies. This property does need to have a conditional use permit granted in Calaveras County. Those are typically granted with a little bit of legwork. We have to do an environmental and a cultural review, but it's not guaranteed. So that's probably, to me, the biggest risk with this project. I have already been in contact with the county though, and so I'm hopeful to get that fast-tracked. It is a new concept, untested in this area, but there is only 4 other real resorts nationwide that have the Christmas theme. So we have the opportunity to get in on the ground floor. This is the road to the resort. It's beautiful. It's very scenic. It is patchy, so it needs some work. It's a county road, but I could work with advocating with the county supervisors who are very accessible in the county. That's kind of like it's in the middle of nowhere in a lot of ways. So everyone is like that small town mentality. So we could work with the county supervisors to hopefully get some better paving on the road. And the other risk is there are registered gold mines on the property. This was a former working gold mine area. And one of the gold mines in particular, we definitely need to get it covered because it's actually like a trench in the ground and a hole in the side of a mountain. So we'd want to get, I have emails out to get quotes on covering that up. It also presents an opportunity because if we can get that stabilized, we could potentially offer tours of a gold mine, which would be really awesome and a way to add value. So the exit strategy is that we would use our property improvements and our established revenue track records to refinance out in 5 years and pay off the initial investors. If I had a private money partner instead, then we can talk about what that exit would be. And then the deal participants, myself, you kind of heard a lot about me already. My husband, Rob, he has 9 years of real estate experience and is a lot more familiar with financials. So he's helping a lot with the financials. Michelle Bisson, who has 5 years of real estate experience and a lot of experience in RV and camping resorts. She's been my advisor and mentor and has helped me so much brainstorming and planning and all kinds of things. So she's really awesome. And then I feel really lucky because I connected recently with Sheila Summer, and she lives across the street from the 29 acres on the top of Mineral Mountain where this place is located. But she has over 20 years of property vacation rental property management in Calaveras County. And I've already talked with her about potentially managing the resort part-time. So she's on board there. So I'm super excited about this opportunity. And I really thank everyone for listening to the deal. This is how you get a hold of me. And these are some pictures of the property. So you know what the property actually looks like. It is a registered tree farm. So that could be another exit strategy too, is I only counted small portions. I'd have to go through and count all the trees to get a true dollar amount of what it's worth, but I'm estimating based on the small portion I counted, it has between $100,000 and $200,000 worth of lumber on the land as well. So that's it. Thank you for listening.
Incredible. Couple of things. Phenomenal job presenting. So good.
Thank you.
Things that kept popping up in my mind were that you are conservative. And I'll tell you one glaringly obvious reason why. There's other people that will present to people like Matt or me, and they will say, hey, the septic tank, I think we can fix it. So we're allotting $5,000 for just da-da-da-da. Mm-hmm. And worst case scenario, we'll have to bump up that budget. You went the opposite direction, which is what conservative people do. They go, this is what I'm planning on paying. If we can fix it, that will go down. So well done. And then when you said, hey, I'm a conservative underwriter, by the time you got to that point, go, yeah, duh. We already know that about you, right? And so it's a good tip for other people. Don't be one of those people that try and hide things. In fact, bring them right to the front. Let the investors, the potential investors know about it. I love that you did that. I'm not even really into Christmas, but now I'm like, how do I get into Christmas? This sounds so freaking cool. Couple of questions. The lumber on the lot. I know a lot of people that are making money from selling Christmas trees on a yearly basis, and I know a good Christmas tree takes 10 years to grow back.
Yes.
But have you guys looked at the 29 acres and said, hey, we could take 4 or 5 of these acres and just plant Christmas trees.
So funny you should ask, because originally when I first looked at this property and saw that it was a registered tree farm, I thought it was a Christmas tree farm. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can do my Hallmark Christmas movie resort. Then when I actually went and looked at the property, I was like, oh, it's a lumber tree farm. But absolutely, there's definitely multiple places where we could, sell the lumber there and turn it into Christmas trees specifically.
Yeah, I mean, it takes 10 years for those trees to grow, but once you get going and you have a couple of acres where it's like you have 1 acre, 2 acres, 3 acres, now you've got a rolling whatever. And there's so much money in that you probably know more than I do.
Add to the experience of the people joining, because everyone who's watched a Christmas movie knows there's always a Christmas tree farm in the Christmas movies.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you also said you're looking for $190,000.
No, I said I was looking for $890,000.
Okay, I thought she said 190. Did I hear that wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
Did I say 100? Yes. Oh, geez. Then I was nervous and misspoke, but it's 800.
We couldn't tell you're nervous, just so you know. You crushed it.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're looking at $890,000. Can we go back to the financials one more time? Because I know Matt's personality is going to be like, and by the way, can we give me a round of applause for not interrupting this time?
I was very impressed. Yeah.
I was prepared for it. I was waiting for it.
Okay, so you're looking for 890, which is what I saw. And interesting thought process. So you're looking for 890. Why couldn't you just go get an SBA loan or something and have somebody put money down? Could you not go that route?
I could absolutely go that route.
Okay.
But I was doing the creative finance that you have taught us to do.
I love it. Well, I mean, still same thing.
Yeah.
Like think about this. I'm doing a deal with Rhea Campbell right now where I'm the sponsor of a deal. And she's like, we can get into this deal with nothing. Just you're sponsoring the loan essentially. So you could have your private money lender or your private money partner sponsor the SBA loan so you don't have to qualify for it.
Okay.
I could do that easily. Like I do that for people all the time. I'll sponsor for stuff that I believe in. Then that way you don't have to raise as much money.
And I'd have a lower interest rate, which would help with the financials.
You'd have a lower interest rate and you'd be into the deal with no money out of pocket. You're the one bringing the deal to the table. You're the one putting the sweat equity. You're doing that stuff. If you went and got an SBA loan for this, you probably would only have to raise about $200,000 or $300,000.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying don't go raise the 890. You also could raise the 890, get started on the project, then go get the SBA loan and refinance out your lenders.
Okay.
And that would be a pretty cool little thing where it's like, hey, my money's only out for 6 months, but you get going on the project, you guys get a refinance, pull most of my money back, but then I remain a partner. Like that's a sweetheart of a deal for a lot of people.
Okay.
I like how your financials look like the ingredients on the back of a spaghetti can. Like this
is how I think.
I know. This is
proteins in this.
Exactly.
That's what I was wanting to know.
I really do like the way you broke this down. And that was the first thing I thought of was like, why is she raising the full dollar amount instead of going and doing that? Other than that, this seems like completely reasonable. Do you have any questions, Matthew?
Oh, I got so many questions. I love it, Becky. This is cool. So let me make sure I understand the experience. Let's say I want to get the business down and then I want to come back to the investment side of it. Let's say I want to book one of these things. You've got it done. You've built it out. And this is a year-round thing?
It would be a year-round thing.
Okay, let's say it's April and I'm booking this. I'm going to go stay there. I book it online. You have some online platform.
Yes.
Maybe I'm local. Maybe I travel in. What does that experience look like for me? Is there someone there? Do I show up?
Yeah.
There's 10 other tents there.
Yeah.
Is there a schedule? What's going on?
There would be a schedule. And so there would be a weekly schedule with activities and there would be, specific times. Sheila, who lives across the street, her schedule would be based on who's checking in when. So that's the importance of having that software is we'd be able to create a schedule for her and she would meet people at the property. And then depending on that week's adventures that we plan, because some of the things that we could do is we have like cookie decorating contest, Christmas tree lighting ceremonies, all these sorts of things, right? And April is actually kind of a shoulder season. It's one of the slower months up there.
Yeah.
So we'd probably have maybe less activities then. Maybe like on the weekends we would have them as opposed to like our busier seasons like April, May, and September, October are like the shoulder seasons. One thought with the shoulder season to make it more interactive, especially September, October, someone gave me the idea of turning it to Halloween for those 2 months.
Yeah.
So instead of being at because my occupancy estimate for September, October, April, May was 30%. So that's why things would be like on the weekends. But I think if we turned Halloween for September, October, I think we would have higher occupancy and then we'd plan out more schedules during the week for activities.
Okay, now can I give you, just sticking on the business stuff?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, if you don't mind. I don't love Christmas all year. I'm
Mhm.
just gonna be honest.
That's okay.
I think you will absolutely crush it in November and December and struggle the rest of the year, is my opinion. I know you love Christmas.
Yeah.
So this is just one guy's opinion. Sometimes it's worth something. So you should talk to Josh McCallum. Okay, you've met Josh McCallum. I've introduced him to you. He owns resorts, golf courses, and he buys resorts to do wedding venues. Now they're outdoor. Okay, do you know him?
I don't know him.
Okay, so he does wedding venues. And his whole strategy was he buys distressed hotel resorts that are struggling because they're in kind of not the best locations, whatever, but he turns them into wedding venues because he gets like a ton of hotel rooms booked. So it's the experience that books the rooms. Okay. And then, but what he realizes in Christmas time, the weather sucks. No one wants to do a wedding and people don't get married as much in November, December. He turned his resort into winter wonderland and he capitalizes on Christmas. Okay. He's got a liquor license. He's got all these little profit centers. He's got an ice skating rink. He's got the tree lighting stuff, a lot of the things you're talking about, and he's tapping into everybody loving Christmas. I think this would be cool. It's okay.
It's all
If you
good.
hate this,
I don't hate it.
Okay.
I'll tell you why after you're done.
I might tell you're already thinking about it with the Halloween thing, because where's where I'm going. I think this should be Halloween experience concept. You're nailing it with Christmas, which I agree will crush it in November and December. Maybe you've got a Halloween concept. I think you can play on a holiday theme. This could be a holiday themed thing in general through the rest of the year. And when there's not a holiday, I would do like daddy-daughter thing.
Oh,
Mother, daughter thing, mother-son thing, whatever. You can plan, I think, to these other themes during different times that really attract people to the experience part of it. You've got a cool outdoor location, you've got the facilities, you've got the people to capitalize it on in November, December. That's how I like the business.
So I have to tell you that for this presentation, because we only had 5 to 10 minutes, I really narrowed it down. But some of the things I've already been talking about, my cousin has been a wedding and event planner for 20 years. And so I've already showed her the property and asked about weddings because there's absolutely locations that we can do weddings on the property. I already have like a list, which I didn't talk about in my presentation, of like things like yoga retreats, writers retreats.
Totally. I love that.
Yeah. I have like a list, couples retreats, the daddy-daughter thing I hadn't thought of. That's a great idea. So.
Yeah. Like I'd love to take my daughters to that. You know, that'd be cool. Get outdoors. There's other dads there with their daughters. Like totally love that.
Cool.
Yeah. You'd do that, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So cool. So, that's just a little business concept that now maybe this does crush Christmas all year. There could be the Christmas fanatics like you that are like,
there's a lot of them.
Christmas in July, baby. Let's do it. I don't know. So, okay. So that was just on the business side. And that, that's my one concern is I'm like, is Christmas an all year thing? I don't know. So I was going to actually go where Pace went on the investment side. Because now I invested in the last deals. I worked with Matthew Poachman. We went all the way to the wire. And I was like, he was like, I was busting his balls too much. He was like, Matt, we got the money. We don't need you. I don't know what happened to that deal. I want to be stated. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm in the deal. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Which I loved him. He was great, by the way. But I did. So Michelle Bassan, who you put in there, I invested in their deal. And I love the RV resort concept that they had, their vision for it, their team that they built. And so I actually invested in that. So I love this too, because you're kind of playing on a similar theme as get outdoors. You got but I love the holidays or other theme concepts. I think could be very valuable to get you revenue through the year if Christmas doesn't work. And maybe you pivot to that. You can run your idea.
We do have like contingency and reserves that I could buy furnishings that are not Christmas themed to have as like backup.
That's why I think the additional revenue you can make by tapping into other themes would cover the different furnishings.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the cost. Think of the revenue opportunity that could cover that would make you more money and cover those things. Yeah, there's some work changing it out because you got to get a different look and vibe. I get that. Okay. And I love the gold mine tour thing idea too. That would be really cool. Do a little gold mine tour.
Like this property is amazing because it has an upper level, it has like a slope and it has like a lower level. And there's so many things you could do with it. Like you could build an outdoor amphitheater based on the slope and have concerts. You could, the way the slope is, you could do a ropes course and a rappel. There is
So
no,
good.
Yeah.
there
Great
is no
idea.
other rappelling in that county. There was one and it shut down because during COVID and
Yeah.
never reopened. So there's, and you could sell day passes for those
Yeah.
things.
Can you get more than 10 tents?
Way more. So this is just
Phase
to me,
one.
Phase one. Like
Okay.
if you've ever seen Bolt Tree House Farms or Bolt Tree House, that's where I envision it going, where you
Okay.
actually have like
How many could you get? 100?
gosh,
100?
probably 100. Probably. If we fully developed it, yeah, probably 100.
Okay. All right. Those are my little thoughts on the business. The other thing I would, I like, for me as an investor, just thinking about it, I don't love the deal. It's like I can get 12% interest in 2 points fully secured on a piece of real estate.
It is a
This-
riskier investment. I
Your real
agree.
estate's 300K.
Mhm,
So I'm not going to be secured.
mhm.
I'm going to be undersecured. But where Pace went is where I was going to go is go get an SBA loan for this. SBA, this is a perfect SBA loan type category. Every American citizen is guaranteed, or not guaranteed, but given the right to get $5 million in SBA funding.
Okay.
And it's 90% that they'll fund. And some of that can be seller carryback, or other investors can help you with the other 10%. So I would definitely go that route on it, because this is a good SBA fundable project.
Okay.
As long as your credit's cool, or your husband, whoever's got the credit, but if your credit's decent, and that, like Pace said, sometimes you can have a partner come in that does get the loan, but that gets dicey with the SBA sometimes, and you're going to have to give up equity. You may not want to do that. So, but I would go down that route. Or you bring in a partner that gets equity. Now, if you're like, I might give, 30% equity to someone in this deal. I still got control, but I'll give up 30% equity or 40% equity for someone and play them a preferred return of 12%. Then it's a little more interesting
Okay.
for an investor, in my opinion.
That's why I'm presenting, because I wanted to hear your feedback on it to make it a better
Yeah,
deal.
because for you want the lowest cost of capital.
Absolutely.
You don't want to give up equity if you don't have to, right?
Of course.
And you want to pay a lower rate if you can. And SBA, because this is a longer term deal anyways, you're going to run this business for a while. You're already going to amortize over 30. I don't know, pay it back in 5. But yeah, that's where I would go. Now, if SBA is off the table for whatever reason, SBA doesn't like this type of deal, I don't know why they wouldn't. Then I think you're back here. Higher cost of capital for you. But I think for an investor, you're going to have to go up in what you're offering. Maybe it's some equity, maybe it's a higher rate.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, I'll definitely look into the SBA. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, somebody like me would sponsor your SBA loan and get involved and make it easy. And then you would go raise maybe 150 grand
Okay.
instead. And the SBA would give you the majority of the money for this, which would be cool. I love this. I think that if you had an extra 10 minutes, you would have gone through all the ideas very quickly on all the other things you were doing. Again, you crushed it on the
You can put
presentation.
my extra slides later if you want.
I also, one of my favorite things about what your presentation was is that experience in real estate is one thing, but a hardworking farm girl that worked farmer's market, that's a different type of person. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're friendly to everybody, you love everybody. You're not in this to make a ton of money. Of course, money is important to you, but you really enjoy what you're doing, and it
I do.
really shines through your presentation.
Thank you.
You are the right person to run something like this. You got me excited about this, which means you crushed it on your presentation. And that's your job for your investors, is to get them excited. And they want to know, oh, is she just doing this to make money? Or is she like going to be in this when things go bad? Because things will go bad.
Yeah.
They always do.
Yeah.
There's something that will pop up.
And I live close by the property, so it's easy for me to get there same day if
Right.
needed.
And you're the kind of person that would do that.
I already have for our vacation rental that we have. Our other vacation rental that we currently own is about 30 minutes away from this location.
Yeah, I mean, just all the experiences. My last thought on this, like the daddy-daughter thing, business retreats, like
Yeah.
for Owners Club, we're always looking for,
It would be perfect for that. I would host you in a heartbeat.
right. So like, we're always looking for cool experiences where people go, wow, I've never done this before. Think about all the masterminds. Think about all the things that people are looking for these types of places to go that have, like you said, the caverns, the wine tasting. You could even do in the summer season, you could even do like food festivals there where all the restaurants in town
So
come
we're
out.
already planning a Christmas in July event that we would do stuff like that.
Amazing. Like, I think that this will make money. I think that you'll brand yourself as like the go-to thing. Everybody in town will go, well, hey, what's the resort doing this weekend? What's the cool thing they're doing this weekend? We should head over there with the family. People love experiences that they don't have to plan.
Yeah.
And if I could just tap into it's one of the reasons why I love being Mormon.
Mhm.
I just was like, what's the church up to this week?
You just show up.
I just show up. Somebody made funeral potatoes and ice cream. I'm in. So this is awesome. I'm
The
excited
second
for
wife
it.
thing wasn't enough?
No,
No, that wasn't.
we needed more.
Yeah.
I think that the next step for you, first and foremost, let's go to her screen where she's got the ability. I saw people in the side chat saying they were interested already. How many people would be interested in putting money into a deal like this? Give me a yes in the side comments.
We would totally book this. All right. Thank you, Nadine.
Okay, so yes, you can do SBA loans after you've already funded and done stuff. And so I do this a lot of times when I'm doing deals. I will fund the deal with my own money and then I'll raise capital after the fact.
Okay.
So a lot of times I think that's what you should do. I think you should simultaneously try and raise your 890, go as if that's the course, simultaneously going after the SBA loan and seeing what that looks like.
Okay.
Because SBA loans aren't 2-day loans. They're 60, 90, 180-day loans, and they're horrible.
Okay.
You're dealing with the federal government, right? So anyway, we actually have somebody in Owners Club that's an SBA lender. I'll connect them to you.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and they'll go through. They're going to teach an SBA loan semester next year, and so might as well put you in touch with them directly and see what they can do to help you out. But I would run both paths in conjunction with each other. People reach out to Becky. Her QR code is right there. If I click on your QR code, where am I going?
You're going to go to my Blink, so you'll get all my information from my Blink card.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay. Joe says he can help you out with septic. Now, last question, what if I want to bring some investors to you? I know people that have capital. Can you wedge me into a little bit of some interest?
Potentially, yes, we can talk.
Okay, sounds
We
good.
can talk for sure.
Guys, did Becky kill it or what?
Thank you, guys.
Amazing.
Thank you.
It's always challenging to be the first one as well. And the reason being is because you have to deal with the technological difficulties. In the very beginning, she handled it like a pro. You could tell she was in production. So great job, Becky. Luz, come on stage. We changed this camera, so now we have a camera pointing at you. So when you're looking at us, we can see you on the camera here. We got that switched up. So who do we have next?
Next, we have Tracy Gunn.
Tracy Gunn.
Yes.
Okay, let's get Tracy Gunn up here. Come on.
And it was Becky Plaza Peace. I always get her last names twisted. So sorry, I apologize for that.
Becky, what's the reasoning for that in your name?
Because I didn't change my name till I was really old.
Mm.
And when you're in education, everyone knows me by my other name, so I just kept it.
It makes you sound more important.
Does it?
Yeah. More established.
Yeah.
All right, here comes Tracy.
Okay, ready? I don't know how to work.
Guys, give it up for Tracy stepping up on the stage. Let's go.
We'll see. I hope mine are going to be up here because
We can see it behind you. Everybody on the Zoom can see it. It should pop up. They're working on it.
Yay!
Boom.
Okay. I learned something really fun about you the other day.
I wondered if you're going to bring it up.
Let me tell you guys a quick little story about Tracy, okay? So every Thursday, I get to spend the day with 15 members in the community. We go do fun things. So last week, Tracy was in town. She came in for a day with Pace, and she stuck around for the whole week hanging out in
I did.
Scottsdale, which is cool. So we're horseback riding up in Black Canyon City with like 20 people. I said, so tell me, like, how'd you meet your husband? And her husband, she was going through a thing with a previous relationship,
Mhm.
and she called a contractor to fix something in her house.
Mhm.
This contractor comes in to fix something in her house. She ends up marrying the contractor. His opening line to her, because she is a candy person, so he says, would the candy lady like to go out for a drink was his opening line. And that worked. They're
It did
married.
work.
They've been married a long time.
There we go.
So at the time when you married this man, what were you doing in the candy world?
I had my candy store in Keene, New Hampshire. And right after I met him, I opened 2 restaurants. So like he's been along for not the first part, but the first job I put him into is he built me a chocolate room. I was like, I kind of like him. Let's give him a job. to
That's
do.
pretty cool.
And now I just put him to work for free.
That's
So
cool.
that's my job.
Smart.
So he's a bonus in here. So
Like you've got strategic thinking. I like that.
yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not playing around here. Okay, so we're good to go?
Yep.
Yay, okay, so I think, sorry, I'm a bootstrapper, not a presenter. So did it go first? No. Hold on. I'm pushing the button.
Where should she be pointing?
Yeah.
Over
sorry,
this
guys.
way? Oh, the laptop's all the way over there.
Oh,
Don't worry, guys. We're learning from
sorry.
my studio is just a little bit more dialed in than we are
Okay.
here, but
Did
our
it
team
go?
is learning,
Thank
which is
you. If
great.
you guys want to, I'll just give you the wave. So we're going to the next one, maybe. Yay, okay, perfect. I'm gonna put this down. Okay, so hi everybody. Oh, okay. My name's Tracy Gunn. As Faye said, I'm the candy lady. And thank you for having me here today. I'm like super excited. This is very outside my comfort zone.
Good.
like, which is amazing, which is the whole point of Owners Club and the community. So
Mark,
Faux pas.
he's
There you go.
asking if you took your peptides
This
today.
this is Scott Schwartz.
Oh,
The Schwartz is strong with Scott. Sorry.
it's okay. It's all good. Okay. So a little bit about me. So I am a self-made entrepreneur. I homeschooled for 14 years. Uh-oh. There we go. I homeschooled for 14 years and all my kids decided to go to school. And I was like, what do I do? So I opened a business. And that was back in 2006. All my kids are grown. But anyway, I still have that candy store. And really, I bootstrapped everything. Like we didn't have a lot of money. Oh, I'm back. Okay.
guys, are we testing her? Are we
I
punk,
got this.
are we
I'm good.
punking her in the back? Is Ashton Kutcher in the back
Punked.
punking? her?
Yeah.
Do over. So yeah, so I mean, basically I bootstrapped everything. I started with a couple $1,000. I started my candy store. I figured, well, what's the worst that could happen? What if it works? And so my kids went to school. I started the store. They would come to the store after school. I put them all to work in the store. And that went on for quite a while until I started to get bored. Big surprise. Oh, so what was I going to say? So anyway, so yeah.
Why candy store? Like where did you just
I
love
actually
candy?
had a whole business plan for something else. And I was looking at spaces and had gone to lunch with my friend and we were looking for something sweet because I like candy and dessert. And there was nothing in our downtown. And so I went to go see the space and had creaky floors, like all the old school stuff that makes you think old school candy. And I was like, you know, this would be an amazing candy store. And so I was like, well, what the heck? Let's do it. And so I launched.
I love
and
it.
I just went for it. And like,
And
I
your
didn't even
candy
have a
store is in the same location to this day?
4 times, but still in the same downtown area.
Okay, cool.
And so we've just gotten bigger. Right now it's 2,000 square feet. And we
Of
do,
candy?
so candy, chocolate, fudge, cupcakes, ice cream, all the good things.
Well, okay, if you guys had a candy store, what would you name it? A good one would be Fudge You. Oh Fudge.
Those are terrible.
Okay, come on, give me something better. Anybody have a better? What's the name of your candy store?
It's called Life is Sweet.
Life
because,
is Sweet.
My ex was in 9/11. We were going through a really hard time for him. And I thought if my store, if it was named something positive, and I said it all the time, I'd remember that life is good. That's Life is Sweet. Oh, I'm getting emotional. Anyway,
I like it.
so Life is Sweet still exists in Keene, New Hampshire. But after a while, I had all my systems in place. I wasn't running everything. I was blessed that one of my friends gave me the book, The E-Myth, when I started, which made me
Good one.
think I want to be an owner, not an operator, right? Owners Club, here we go. And so that's kind of how I did it. I had a life and I was kind of bored. So I opened a couple of restaurants, did that, did another candy store. And in 2019, life happens. And sometimes something comes from right outside and makes you change your mind about what you're doing. And I had my first grandbaby.
Yay.
And so I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I was working 18-hour days. All my kids were grown. And I was like, I want to just sell. And so I hired a local guy, a friend, to help me sell the restaurants and the candy stores. And I learned a hard truth about businesses is that most businesses are not set up to sell. And mine was one of them.
You see that a lot in your business?
Yes, sadly, we see a lot of businesses that just,
They think
there's
they
no one
can
that wants to
sell.
take it over.
Yeah.
And it depends on how you've structured the business, really, more
Correct.
than anything.
Exactly. Even
Any
though
business could sell, a candy store could be bought. It's just,
could be.
how was it structured?
Correct. And so, well, his advice was he was a broker and he just said, don't bother, just liquidate. And I was like, ugh. He made me cry a little bit. And after I had my moment, I realized, well, if he's right, what can I do about it? And so I fixed some things. I learned some things. I learned all the things about selling and what makes a business valuable and transferable. And I found my buyer in 3 months. And so I realized most businesses are not built to sell. They're just built to be. But what if they could be? And so the one store I still have is the candy store. And I was like, what if I started over, knowing everything that I know, like a do-over, right? Like if you could go back to high school, knowing everything you know, it would be way more amazing because you know everything. So what if I could improve the model of what I have? I love the store, but I'm in a market that's dying, in a town that's kind of dying. But what if I could go to a place that's growing? And that's kind of what I did, like Undercover Millionaire, where they drop you and they're like, all right, you know how to do this, do it. So that's what I did in Charlotte.
Oh, I love Charlotte.
Yeah, so I did that last year. I started over intentionally with the goal of opening 10 stores within 2 years and being able to exit for 5x. I slimmed down the model, did all the things, right? But what I learned after joining this community, and thank you to Pace for this, is that, you know, bootstrapping and being in your business yourself is maybe more natural for business owners. But what if I could fund some things? What if I had some partners to help me go faster, right? Instead of bootstrapping every dang thing, right? Especially because I'm building an exitable and sellable business. That's kind of the goal. So let me see if it goes to the next screen. Maybe.
I'm a really bad person to present to because what happens is I immediately say yes. I'm like, where do I wire my money? I want to own a candy
I'm
store.
not sure how to get to the next one, guys. I'm sorry.
I love your line of thought, Tracy. I'll just say this because
Yeah.
you're thinking exactly how you should think and what someone who's been there and done that already should.
Ask me how I know.
Yeah, you know, it's like, what am I doing this for?
Okay. I hope everyone can see the screen because this is my favorite one because there's Warren Buffett right up here. Okay, so the goal is to build a highly profitable mini chain of candy stores in Charlotte, to net $1 million annually, to sell in 24 months for 5x. We're going to add 3 more standalone stores this year. I'll get into why that's important. I already have 1 standalone store in McAdenville, which is surprisingly Christmastown, USA for the last 75 years, which is right outside Charlotte. And then I'm going to add 5 more co-brand stores. And so again, thank you to Pace and the community. My second location that I did in Charlotte was a creative deal. Somebody needed a partner. I took over part of their space and we share expenses that one. Next models are going to be revenue.
I thought creative finance was a scam.
Ha ha ha. Depends on who you ask, I guess. So anyway, so the goal is to have the 3 more standalone stores, 1 in each county around Charlotte, including Mecklenburg. And the reason for that, I'll get to in a minute. And then the other ones is to capitalize on other people's high traffic locations. So I actually have a deal with someone who owns 5 ice cream stores in the area, and I'm going to be in his spaces.
That's what you mean by co-branding.
Yeah.
Love it.
And we're going to rev share.
Love that.
And so, so my cost for opening my first store in McAdenville was $24,000. My second one was 13. Oh, actually, no, that's not accurate. Those are the projected ones. So, oh, here we are. 15,000 for McAdenville. I projected the other one. You'll see it on the financials. But here we are for Lake Wiley, which is my second one, was $5,000. I opened in 2 weeks because I'm efficient and I'm a bootstrapper. Okay, so why candy? So we're going to ask our friend Warren Buffett. So See's Candy was one of his best investments ever. He paid $25 million back in 1972 because Charlie Munger wanted him to. He paid 3 times what it was worth because Charlie Munger believed, as I do, that See's wasn't just selling chocolate or candy, it was selling a piece of California's heart and soul. And that is what the candy stores are for local communities. They are the cornerstone. It's where everybody goes. And so basically it's made over 2 billion. Last year they did $750 million. in
See's
sales.
Candy?
Yep.
We
Buffett-
can tell See's Candy that their candy sucks, just
Wow.
straight up.
That's what, come on now.
But
so-
that's crazy.
It's not
Seven-
as good as Life is Sweet.
It's
No, it's
not.
not.
That's what I'm trying to say.
That's what I'm saying. So Buffett calls it the perfect business because it's high margin, recession proof, and emotionally driven.
And I would imagine that the candy doesn't sour that quickly.
It lasts forever. That's
Lasts
over
forever.
here. Yeah. So Life is Sweet follows the same high profit customer loyalty model, right? Built for scale and acquisition. So what I need, 250,000 in investment to launch 8 new locations, to centralize inventory, which we're going to do a warehouse after the 6th one to kind of maintain and supply all the inventory, and hire an operator to service all the locations, because that is probably not something I'm going to always do. The right partner, 10% equity stake, profit share with full investment return in 2.5 years. Okay. I'm going to hit the button. Let's see if it works. Yay. Okay. So the target market. So who is our ideal customer? I mean, it's families, kids, tourists, nostalgic.
Humans.
Well, guess what? It's you. So think about it. When was the last time you saw candy cigarettes? Like,
It's
see,
been,
everyone-
yeah,
like
10 years.
you all probably felt something, thought something, and like brought you back to wherever you bought them, right? That is what candy stores are for people long term. It's people who stroll Main Street, go after dinner while they're shopping. So, I mean, basically anybody. The industry outlook. So the next 5 years, US candy industry, 52 billion and growing. Crazy. Even though I tried to bring you candy, you said no. But anyway, that was back in Charlotte. Everybody loves candy. It's just not going away. There's no direct competition in Charlotte. There's one at the airport, one in 2 malls, and that's it. It's a booming high market, high median income area, Charlotte. 125 people move to Charlotte every day. It's just going to continue to grow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So why does this matter for investors? So it's recession resistant product with high customer loyalty. Candy has a long shelf life. Thank you, Pace. And proven model, which is low risk and a faster return. Okay. Yay, it worked. Okay, so who are the deal participants? I have long-term suppliers. So I mentioned I was in Christmastown, USA. It was my first year, didn't know how it was going to be, but 600,000 people come to that town in December. So my long-term supplier drove down $75,000 worth of candy for me on margin. Why? Because they love me and they know me, right? So that matters. Co-branding, retail partners, reduces the cost and accelerates the growth. So it has built-in foot traffic. So this ice cream man that I'm mentioning, I mean, he's doing 300,000 plus at all of his locations. He has traffic. If he has traffic while they're waiting in line for ice cream, I've already done that. And I've slimmed down the model because I don't want to do that. It's a good partnership, but that could also be true for boba shops, coffee shops, bakeries, cupcake shops. I've done all those things, don't want to do them anymore, but perfect partners for me who have traffic already. And it's like a little kit system. So the backbone of the operation would be me. 18 years of experience in food, restaurants, specialty retail. I did 12 years as a chair of our downtown group. So I created events, I created buy local programs. So I know how to do this community building part. Community relationships, again, I said we are community builders. So like how many of us got pizza for reading? We do
Me,
the same thing with
Pizza
camping.
Hut, mini
Yep,
pizzas.
that's right.
Oh my God.
Or Little Caesars, right? It brings you back. We do that with the local county's libraries.
Chloe, is that what we're having for lunch today? Are we having mini pizzas for everybody?
So I like it. So-
Dang, you got me
I didn't
feeling,
bring
you got
you-
me feeling something
Right,
today.
exactly. So, so we actually partner, Mecklenburg committed. I just have to have, that's why I mentioned I have to have our own store in each county because the library systems promote us and we are their top prize for winning, for reading, which is an amazing thing. We also do birthday club, all that kind of stuff. And then customers are friends for life. And the bonus, the candy lady's husband who builds out all my second gen spaces. for
Would the
free.
candy lady like to get a drink?
An adult beverage, is
An
what he
adult
offered,
beverage?
right? Okay, so risks and exit strategy. So competition from similar businesses, I mean, not really. it's a unique experience. I don't think it's going away. People want an experience when they come in and they see all the old school things and they make their own custom bag. That's not going away. Amazon cannot replace that. And there's not really any competition. There is a new one that did open in Fort Mill, which is like 30 miles south. But she's a first timer and I don't think she's going to hang. So scaling challenges, sorry, I'm like expanding too quickly, maybe. I mean, but honestly, I'm going to be honest, like I opened my second restaurant in 2 weeks and it was 6,500 square feet. Like that's scaling is not a big deal for me. And especially if we have the kit and it's all settled and we already have the systems in place. Like, again, think about a do-over. Like I already know the things that didn't work. I learned the hard way, right? We're doing it the right way this time with the exit in mind. Recessions could impact discretionary spending, of course, but candy's pretty low cost and everybody treats their kids to candy. Like we had this year, everyone showed up in their little first day of school outfits. Like it's where you go to celebrate, but also holidays, all the things. Supply chain, sure. I mean, could it be chocolate is going up in prices. They're having some droughts around the world, but the reality is, I mean, candy, it's a pretty high demand thing. You can get it everywhere. We're probably not going to have a disruption. And then exit challenges, maybe we'd have trouble finding a buyer. But my thought is the solution is building for exit from day one, planning for that, having something that's solid and working with strong cash flow and multiple exit options. So that's that part. Okay, so here we go. Here's our ask. So 10% equity stake, annual profit share, 99,000, total profit share, 198, projected exit payout at 5 million. Now I chose 5x, but I think that's pretty conservative. Usually confectionery is 7.5 to 15, and it really always depends on what the buyer is willing to pay, right? And so here we are. These are my 4 phases. So number 1, again, I keep in mind I had, other than my grandkids, I didn't have a presence there. I'm this lady from New Hampshire who decided to open stores in Charlotte. So the first one is the hardest one. So we got that opened last May in Christmastown, USA, of which I'll say, if you have traffic, you can make money because we did 90,000 in sales in December in that one store. The test expansion model, which again, learned a lot about co-branding, sharing spaces, making her more profitable, making myself more profitable. And then now we're at the scale and streamline, which is phase 3, add 3 standalone, 1 in each county, and then the 5 co-brand or kiosk model. Could go beyond 5, but I figured let's go for 10. Then we're going to do distribution, wholesale hub, which is pretty easy. And then the exit options. The exit options make me happy because we're talking either sell to a strategic buyer, franchise expansion. If this works in Charlotte as a model, we could do it in Atlanta, we could do it in Chicago, you can do it anywhere else. And then you could also keep holding for long-term cash flow because $1 million net a year is not a bad gig. And so that is that. And yeah, there I am. There she is. Happy
Amazing.
faces. So and this is Life is Sweet. I don't know if I said it was Life is Sweet the whole time, but yeah, that's Life is Sweet. And yeah, I mean, some people might say like, well, how do you know you're going to be able to make X, Y, Z? But if I've been doing 350,000 in sales during COVID, we doubled to 600 plus. But in a town that's 25,000 people.
That's crazy.
With a low median income, why couldn't I do it in Charlotte? Doesn't make.
What was your margin on 350?
Well, it's a more expensive market. So I'll give you an example. When I went south, I got rid of the things that were costly. Baker, chocolate maker, having 2 people on, having someone to run the ice cream, all that. So my payroll up north is about 1,000 to 1,500 a week. My payroll at my McAdenville location is 500 a week. So all of a sudden I have a lot better options. Payroll up there is 15 an hour plus tips. Payroll set in the South is $9 per. So like all of a sudden it can be run with 1 person. It's all self-serve. They kind of guide them through the process and it keeps the expenses low. So I do have a financial place on one of my next ones, I think. Yeah, there they are in case, because so basically the way I used this was that I had my startup costs. So I gave myself like the one that I did bootstrap and what it would look like for the others. And then the same over here for the co-brand, and then what it would look like for the others based on what I was able to do. So I understand the numbers because I've done it already twice, right down there. And then all of my predictions, the warehouse expenses, and then this is what all the money would go to. So
How much are you raising?
250,
That's it?
Yeah.
For how many stores?
8.
250 for 8 stores.
Well, like again, so I'm showing you, I did my first one for 13,000. So I predicted, okay, let's add a little bit more so I don't have to bootstrap it so much. Easily done. I have the candy. I
That's
have the
crazy.
jars. And then the same for the kiosk one. Once you simplify and systematize it, you already know. I did that one for 5,000. My second location, I predicted 12,000. So I don't know if there's questions, and that's that part, but that's like, this is all my, it doesn't seem like enough money, but for me, it's way more than I've ever spent to do it. And I've done it a bunch of times before. So that's kind of, I don't know if that makes sense.
Tracy
Yeah.
Gunn killed it. My wife is in the side chat. My wife is in the side chat. She says, Pace
A
loves
lot of
candy stores anywhere, anytime. That is very true.
Do you? Even though you told me not to bring candy.
The problem with people bringing me candy sometimes
Oh.
is I'm allergic to a lot of things. And so people will bring me stuff and then I have this thing that I have.
Got it.
Yeah, I go into anaphylactic shock
Oh, no.
with certain like dyes and stuff like that. So I know what candy I can have.
You
and I
know,
don't.
got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
So
So that's good to hear, because I was like, can you trust someone who doesn't like candy? I don't know. I mean,
I know, I like
like you,
candy.
Pace, but I don't know. That's, my husband did say that to me once when we met. He said, I don't really like candy. And I was like, all right, we're not going to be friends.
Yeah.
That is not going to work for me. Anyway.
I do love candy. I love candy stores. I love the ones that you walk in. It's not just a candy store. There's cool things on the walls.
Mhm.
There's the candy cigarettes. I can walk out and roll them up in my sleeve and,
That's right.
pretend like it's
Puff the
19.
smoke on the bubble gum
Exactly.
ones. It's all
I
experience.
felt very cool doing that, you know,
Yeah.
Totally.
like Steve McQueen or something.
Yeah.
Somebody super
Totally.
cool.
As a little Mormon guy in Mesa.
Oh yeah, it was like, you're not supposed to do that. It was like, I'm a
You were
bad boy.
hardcore.
I'm a bad
I'm
boy.
older, so that was pretty the norm then.
Yeah.
Right? We all were doing it with sticks if we didn't have candy cigarettes. So,
Can I say this?
Yes.
And this is totally contrary to what I should say,
okay.
because if I was going to invest in this, I want to tell you all the problems, right?
Okay,
So
that's
make-
okay.
So I make you feel
I'm
like,
like, no, I'm
so I
good.
make you feel like I'm getting a deal, you know?
Sure,
if
okay.
I- or if
Beat
I-
me
you're
up a little
lucky that I'm
bit?
investing in
That's
this
right.
thing. You are selling yourself short, Tracy. You
Okay.
are selling yourself short on what this opportunity could be. This is not 5 million. This could be 50 million.
Well,
this is
this is the first piece.
I
that's
want the
my-
big vision though,
Well,
Tracy.
that's
I
what-
don't want the little
I
vision.
mean,
I want
But
the
this
big
is what
vision.
he's pitching was this part, because I'm going to the moon and back. Because I
Okay.
want to do a roll up.
Alright.
I want to do all kinds of things. So
Okay, all right, I
yeah.
love it. Okay, so
tell me.
here's a few ideas that
Please.
I think. If you can do 5, you can do 50.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's the biggest thing I think, and this is why your experience is awesome, because you've been through this already. And I think some of the best entrepreneurs are somebody that's already been there, done that. Maybe they struggled, maybe they had a little success or failure, whatever you want to call it. I've had my first business I did outside my law firm, I shut down after
Yeah.
3 years in. I actually started a title and escrow business outside of it. And I was like, this wasn't for me.
Yeah,
And I know you're doing it right now, but it wasn't for me. So I started doing something else.
right.
But that was a very valuable lesson to me. And I think you've
Yeah.
had the good lesson. And
Yeah.
now you've got the vision already.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on for a minute here.
No,
because
I'm gonna listen.
I love what you're doing. Okay. When you're like, you can't sell that business. And this is what I get all the time with clients, my business owner clients trying to sell their business is it's like, yeah, you have a job. No one wants to go buy
That's
a
right.
job.
That's
You
right.
haven't got through the critical break point, which
Yeah.
is what you're at right now of
Mhm.
I've got one store, owner operator. Now I'm going to 2 stores and I'm have manager operator.
Mhm.
And if you can prove that in 5 stores, that those are profitable
Yep.
without Tracy being there
Yeah,
doing
that's
everything.
exactly right.
Because no one's buying you.
No, that's
When
right.
you sell this at the end of the day, you want to be done. Now,
Yep.
maybe there's a private equity play or growth and you want to keep staying on, whatever, we can get to that. But I think
Mhm.
that what someone wants to acquire is the businesses. They
Yep.
know they can't buy Tracy.
That's
So
right.
if you get through those break points of where you can prove that model, profit, manager operated stores at 5, that could be 50.
Right.
And that's when, and maybe there's another round of you just take on more investors at that point
Mhm.
or something. So I see that as just as one thing.
Right. And I have 3 now.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if I said.
You have 3
I have
that our
3.
manager ran. And are those stores profitable?
No,
yet?
like I've been here for a week. They're running. But I have to
Okay.
check in, right? I have to
Okay.
make sure. staff.
Okay, so this is what you'll be able to need to
Right.
display, of course, is that
Sure.
this business doesn't need Tracy
Correct,
at some point.
Mhm.
When you get to sell, you got to be able to be like,
of course.
I'm just the figurehead, or, I
Right.
kind of poke in and here
I'm
and
just the
there.
candy lady.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, so the other thing, if you're building a brand of Life is Sweet,
Mhm.
have you thought about having your own line of candy? Do you just sell other stuff? What do you do?
So we got our trademark for the name.
Okay.
We got approved for Amazon to be a brand,
Okay.
that kind of thing. We have merch and all the things. Like, it took a long time to find my logo that I love, and the
Love
logo's
it. Okay.
interchanger. So that's all in there.
Okay.
When I originally started it as Life is Sweet, I thought about Life is Good, the t-shirts and all the different ones,
Yeah.
like that's in there.
I was thinking Sweet Life of Zach and Cody,
Oh,
but
I like it, but yeah, all of that is the
I had
idea.
teenage daughters 10 years ago. Okay, that's not my show.
I did
I just know from
maybe
that.
10 years ago. Yeah,
Okay,
same.
so you've thought about that. But right now you don't sell your own. You're buying from a distributor of the
So-
candy, but you're not selling your own line.
No, well, so
necessarily.
we don't make candy. We
Yeah.
do make, so at my original, like the candy headquarters, we do cupcakes, cookies, fudge, chocolate. We do all of
You
that.
making that in
Correct. And we might bring that back in, but I got rid of, so this opportunity to like do over.
Yeah.
All the garbage that wasn't working, all the friction
Right.
points, staff doesn't show up, baker quits, now you're baking again. Like all the things that kept pulling me back in, I got rid of in this slimmer model.
This is so valuable, by the way.
And so,
And is super valuable.
well, thank you for saying that. Because sometimes, you wonder, you're like 18 years, why am I not
Yeah.
further? But you know what? I raised my children. My goal was to stay where my children were until they were gone. And now they're gone. So
Yeah.
now it's my time to do whatever. And grandbabies, that helps too.
I had this clip I watched this morning, Iced Coffee Hour, the
Mhm.
guy who just won the Beast Games, who won $10 million.
Okay.
Who watched that?
No.
Phenomenal display of human behavior. If you were going to watch that Beast Games thing, it's like what humans will do to each other and like lie about partnerships and stuff. Like, it's the craziest thing ever. But anyway, the guy that won $10 million lives in California.
Okay.
And they said, are you going to leave California so you don't pay an extra $1.8 million in taxes? He
Mhm.
goes, no, my kids' friends are here and my this is
Right.
here and da-da. And I was like, dude. And so that reminds me like how what life really is about is what you did. You took the time off and you did the highest calling that Tracy could ever do.
Yep.
And now it's Tracy's time.
My next 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
And this is it. And this is going to fund it.
Okay, so
right?
I have I wrote down some ideas because as your future partner, because I'm like, yo, I will write a check to get into something like this. Because why the hell not?
Don't you want to be like Warren? I'm sorry.
I'm gonna take my wife's
Warren knows
Starbucks
some
budget
stuff.
and we're gonna deploy this into candy instead. Okay. I'm teasing her. She's in side chat. So a couple of things that I thought of. I always wondered why candy stores didn't do this. I really, as an LDS dude, I have zero vices
Mhm.
other than candy and ice cream.
Okay.
Okay. Like I will go to bed eating ice cream. It is the greatest thing on the planet.
I love dessert.
No vices
dessert
besides
people.
candy. So I love candy stores. I pick them apart. Why don't they do this? Da, da, da,
Oh,
da.
I do that too.
My thought is like, why doesn't anybody do a subscription model of like the candy of the month
I do.
club? Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay, cool. Because then you're getting hundreds of people around the town you're doing a subscription model.
Mhm.
I love that. The other one is if you could get all your customers' birthdays,
I have a birthday club.
Okay, I love it.
I
Birthday
get
club.
free candy for their birthday.
I love it. We get into something. She's like, I got it. Yeah, I got that.
And
She's
I'm
got-
sorry. I'm
Oh, yeah.
sorry. I don't mean to do it.
I'm-
No, I'm glad
I
you
know.
have it. The other
Because
thing is like,
that's how I got all of it. That's how I built my list. I built my list during COVID. It was at 150,000 people across the country. And I wrote an article for Russell Brunson about my birthday club and how I was getting like 1 cent clicks to get people to opt in and
I
then,
love it. Okay,
all
cool.
of that stuff.
Maybe you already have this.
Tell me.
You already do.
No,
Like
I
I
probably
I
don't.
obviously don't have any good
Uh-oh.
ideas
I
today.
set
so-
myself up for that. I
Um,
set myself up for that.
The
No,
other,
they're good ideas.
she's
Because
done it.
Tracy's already done it.
She's
No,
done it.
no.
So my thought is when I want to buy somebody flowers, right? Like Jade Jarvis will go, hey, we really should buy so-and-so flowers. My wife will go, we need to buy somebody so-and-so flowers. I'm like, why don't we, because you've got the fruit things dipped in chocolate.
Mhm.
That stuff goes bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to refrigerate it and
Right.
it's problematic and it's whatever.
Chemical arrangements. It's got chemical-y stuff on it to make it last.
Right. So why wouldn't you have the ability to call up the candy store and go, hey, my so-and-so, my team member needs a such and such. I want to buy $100 flower arrangement that sticks of gummies in it. Da, 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 da. Have you guys done anything like
Yep,
that?
we do that. We do some things like that. It is when I slim down the model, I kind of haven't talked a lot about that stuff because we have e-com, we have subscription boxes, we have, I set up a whole separate website. Thank you, AI, helping me code it. But basically where they can, just like, so during COVID, we launched our e-com store and we doubled our business because people couldn't go out. But they also could build their own perfect candy. So when you go to the candy store and you make your own candy bag, it's what you want it to be. It's not this generic mix.
Right.
So that's what we did for our website, where they can go and they can pick from 150 candies what they want in their box. So we do that online. So like if you knew that Laura liked this, and this, and you sent it, it was perfect for her because it's exact, you know what she likes. That we have grandmas who come in the store at Christmas, they make stocking stuffers for each grandchild because they know what each grandchild likes. It's special because it's custom made by grandma for them. Same thing online. So we do that, if that makes sense.
I love it.
that.
I don't even need to look at the numbers. I just want to own a candy store. Like I'm the worst person to pitch this idea.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited. So, yeah.
Okay. Would it be reasonable, my attorney,
Yeah.
to go to somebody like this and go, hey, you own other candy stores. I'd like to see the financials of those candy stores to verify that you're actually doing what you say you're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna do the due diligence, right?
What would
I'm
you-
super
what would you-
interested in this.
Are we going to own candy stores together?
Dude, I wanna get on this. Yeah, I like this.
So, and just, you
I
know,
like you, Tracy. And I think, when you're presenting a business, and Becky was great too. I mean, I love how she started off with her background was you're investing in a person and an opportunity at the same
Yeah.
time. And you've thought this through a lot. You've not only thought it through, you've done it. And I get scared when someone says something you said, actually.
about,
You said, I'm building it for exit. And a lot of times I'm like, you don't build a business to sell, but you've actually been there and done that already.
Right.
You're refocusing of, I've already done this
Mhm.
and I know how this business runs. Now I'm building it so I can sell it. So
Right.
it's very different, but you have you're pretty strategic about what you're trying to do.
Mhm.
And it's a good opportunity for an investor. And I see so many other verticals of ways you can make money. And you're
Mhm.
already thinking the co-branding store.
Mhm.
You're already thinking the subscription thing.
Mhm.
I'm thinking of an online presence. You build your brand.
Mhm.
You get the store value that you're going to get brand recognition from the store, especially if you get into other markets. Then people are going to know the
Mhm.
brand. Then it's valuable online. Then you can sell it. Then you
Yep.
can get it to retail places if you build a product line. I just see, I mean, it's just
So
sweet.
this is my first, right? You get the chance to do it over, right? Like you're in a kid do-over.
Yeah.
Like this is my do-over, meaning great market, high traffic, where they have a high median income, where they have discretionary spending, right? And then it's like, okay, how do I make this work in this little controlled environment? So like, for example, we started, okay, how do people know we're here? So I've been running birthday club ads forever. So we do a local Facebook ad, like, hey, we're in McAdamville. We want to buy your first bag of candy. Come and check us out. So I have that whole system. It just launched. So people are coming in, they're bringing their mom and their brother and their kids, and they're getting a free bag of candy for 5-cent click. And then they're spending $30. So like my customer, so I'm lining up how to do this at these first two. So if they work at these first two, they're going to work at all of them. They're all going to work together. And then they're going to work in a different market and a different market and a different market. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking. But that's why I didn't bring in all those other things, is because I want the proof here.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, this is like a larger thing, which is, I realized when I tried to sell in the broker, and whether he was right or wrong doesn't really matter.
He was wrong, Tracy.
Yes, that's right. Well, I mean, he wanted an easy sale, and restaurants are never an easy sale.
Yeah.
That's just reality. But the thought was like, if I could, from the beginning, be thinking about the end, what does that finish line look like,
Yeah.
and build towards it,
Totally. Yeah.
right? As opposed to more. That's most owners, right? I want just more. And so the idea to be able to do that, and then like it's proof, like if I could go somewhere brand new, start from scratch, knowing everything that I know and do it, any business owner can do that. Like for me, it's more mission based. obviously I'd love the cash flow too. And I'm tired. Bootstrapping gets old, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and I think too, of why are you trying to raise money? It's so that you can do this faster.
correct.
It's going to
Exactly.
accelerate the growth. And the cost to your equity is worth it because you're gonna have a bigger piece of pie at the end because you were able to accelerate growth.
Right. And that's why I like the 3 exit strategies. Cause like,
Yeah.
I think, and like with the business owners that I work with that are like building towards exit is sometimes when they get themselves out of the business, all of a sudden they're like, well, maybe I don't need to sell
Yeah.
because they don't have a job anymore. Now they have a business that's kind of running and giving the money and all the things they thought they'd have from the beginning, but that they never did. So I think there's lots of options. So thank you for not ripping it apart. I was nervous. So
Do you want me to pick it
No,
apart?
no.
Okay.
I want you to be, yay, candy.
No, I won't. I love it. I mean, obviously due diligence needs to be done, but
Yeah.
I'm already thinking like our team, we have like snacks in the kitchen, we have all that kind of stuff, right, Chloe? And it probably all these companies get the same snacks for their team
Mhm.
members, right? Or donuts or this or that or
Yep.
whatever. It's like, wouldn't it be cool if there was a Life is Sweet box that pops into the office every month that's like, here's the new candy for the month.
Uh-huh.
You guys would put that in your office at the front desk or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Well, that-
And it's
that's
like
another
different
great idea.
varieties every time, and you had one
It's a lot of
person.
ways to go.
Oh my gosh, there's so much money to be made. Let's
Mhm.
put the donut companies out of business and all the other people out of business. Like, there's so many ways to make money with candy. Everybody likes candy.
And
Gosh,
it lasts a long time.
it's top of funnel. Everybody likes it.
Mhm.
And if you don't like it,
Oh, well, we're not
Screw you.
trusted. You're not to be trusted.
okay, so one worry I do have,
Okay.
I feel like 10 stores or 8 stores.
I already have 2 in Charlotte.
Okay, but you want to do 8 more?
I want to do 8 more because I was just thinking the goal was 10 stores, 2 years, exit for 5X.
Okay,
right?
so my thought
I could
is,
go
can you
way further.
handle 8 launching simultaneously?
Yeah. Well, because like I mentioned, my ice cream man that I know.
Oh, because you're co-branding some of these.
Yeah, so 6, I'm gonna have 6 co-brand, 4 standalone. So I already
Got
have
it.
one locked up for the
So
second.
really, you're
location.
really opening 4 stores.
Yeah, easy. And just finding the right location that has traffic, right?
What's
Why
the,
reinvent
what's
the wheel?
like the profit, like the take home net, EBITDA, whatever you want to call it? What's the, on one store? If it's going,
On one store, if it's working, oh gosh, where is my, I had that written down. Wait a minute. I just got to find it in all my things, right? Oh, potential gross revenue 300, annual cost of goods is 100, annual expenses, so projected profit 114
114 per
on
store.
300.
How long
yeah.
does it take to get a store to that?
So I did a carry of 3 months for the standalone and a carry of 2 months for the co-brand just to like
Okay.
get, but usually I'm profitable the first month. Because I
God.
do it really
Why did you get into
simply.
doing people's IRAs? Like, why didn't you get into candy, bro? They're profitable month
'Cause I
one.
have to compete with Tracy.
Ah,
My
come on.
gosh.
So, and I keep it really simple. Obviously, my husband, I like a second gen space. I don't have a huge build out because I just feel like
Yeah,
why
that's
start in the
another
hole?
thing. I mean, honestly, some people come with any retail concept and it's like a $250,000
Yeah.
build out. And it is like,
Well, and you want to adapt to where you are. So like this, if we go, I don't know if it's come back, but I can show you. Let me. Oh, there we are. Okay. So this is the original store. Like some of these are my original like bookcases I bought. But anyway, this is the original store,
Like
some
it.
of my staff. This kid, I've known him since he's this big. There I am giving candy. But anyway, here's my short and sweet bus. But so this is my first main street. Like this is my store, first one in Charlotte. But all these were here. So my husband built shelves.
that's the one right now in
This is
Charlotte.
the one right now, right outside McAdenville, Christmastown, USA, and it's all the old school stuff and the gummies. This is the co-brand. We joined with a boba shop.
Cool.
This is why we trust but verify, because she had 250,000 in sales, but it was all on her truck, not in the store.
Oh, yeah. So she
We
didn't get
learned.
traffic. Yeah.
We learned, right? But again, this was all set up. We just kept took a little corner. And so again, sometimes you have to get open and figure it out. And then the second one was like, okay, how does this work? Well, now that I know, easy peasy. And then, here we are. So that's kind of it. Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like.
Awesome.
What would you say to somebody that wants to invest in one of these deals? What would be some key elements of due diligence that they need to do?
Obviously the financials on the first
Mhm.
store, because that's your concept that you're selling here is that this does make money.
Yep.
And so it all comes down to the financials. I think
Sure.
the second thing is, and this is you even saying trust but verify.
Yeah.
is you gotta, like I want tax returns,
Right.
bank statements. We want to
Mhm.
verify the income.
Sure,
You know, like big buyers of businesses, private
Right.
equity or big corporations, they call it a quality of earnings,
sure.
you know, a Q of E. But really it's like, I'm going to check your bank statements, your merchant
Yep.
account. Like, did
Yep.
this revenue really show up
Yep.
here? Somewhat easier to document expenses, but did the revenue really hit?
Yep.
Then the other thing, and this is big, is like Tracy's got to get locked down in this deal somehow. And there's risk in the deal of, you know, you have some issue in your life,
Mhm.
whatever, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's a huge risk in the business because there's no number two.
right. Which is why, I mean, have it formulated out for the integrator, for the Charlotte Metro to be able to. And
At what point can you afford an integrator in the
Um,
financials?
So I already have, I mean, I don't work the stores, so they're all
Okay,
staffed. So now I just need a person who, and it could start slow. I actually built an app in Lovable this week that does all the inventory for all the stores. So they'll all have their own tablet. When they're low, they mark it down. The nice part about the co-brand is that the only expense is I like the shared revenue, the only expense is the candy. So,
Yeah.
and somebody to bring it. They handle all the staff, they handle all of the filling, the cleaning and all of that. They handle all of the insurance. It's their building. It's they collect the taxes, they submit the taxes. So I've removed myself from all of the stuff that normally have to do. And I'll do it at the 4, but you know, if you don't have to pay for all of that headache. So those have the potential to be way more profitable because there's so little expenses. So the projected profit,
but like who hires an employee then? Like who talks to the vendor? Like that's you.
that's me. Well,
Okay.
right now, that's me,
So
right?
Like
you need a Molly.
I need a Molly,
You need a
correct.
Molly, yeah.
Yeah.
And so the goal was to get there. And, you know, honestly, because it's a new model, I think it's important for me to be kind of in that to understand how it works, just like when I started, like to understand what works, what doesn't work, why doesn't it work? Because, you know, I have to tell my staff when they try to reinvent the wheel, like, I know stuff, like this system is set up because I know what I'm talking
Dude, did we
about.
just buy a candy store? Like, what's up?
I think so, but I want to lock Tracy down. I want to know, like, you know, so like, let me ask this. Like,
Yes,
if,
tell me.
let's say I'm investing and I'm
Okay.
like, but Tracy, you got to go for it. I don't want this to be like,
Let's go.
I don't work. I mean, in some ways I like that when you're ready to sell,
Mhm.
but I kind of want like, no, I'm driving this thing. I'm already looking for the next store. I'm negotiating with this. I'm doing that. I'm
Yep.
working on the line of candy.
Yep.
I'm doing like the next thing, the next revenue opportunity is
I
like
work-
Tracy's like 60 hours on this thing.
I
a
do
week.
18 hours a day usually.
Okay.
And not in the store per se,
Yeah, but
but
on the
building out,
business.
fixing the website, doing the content,
Okay.
flying back and forth to New Hampshire to
Like
keep
that's what
that
you're
one
offering in the
going.
deal. You're
Yes.
offering like I'm in.
I'm not
guys.
getting paid for that part, right? Like, meaning I own it.
I mean, you get
and I'm
the profit
building.
at the bottom line.
Right. Well, and again, the one up in New Hampshire has like skirted profitability, but keep in mind, it's funding me, right? It's funding my car and all those things. So that's what most business
Yeah.
owners do when you start, right? COVID was interesting.
You made a ton of money.
I made a ton of money that first year. I had a partner who was earning in, and then, because again, remember, I wanted to exit all the businesses. I had a partner who was earning in. And when I had that partner, she basically, she wasn't an owner. She broke all the systems. So after 2 years, she was exhausted because she was doing all the things that I had originally had systems for. Plus, we had all new staff, right? Because so we went from years, like 10 plus years of the same staff every summer or whatever to all new staff. So that has been a hurdle up north. The ones down here have been pretty great and pretty easy. And again, it's a simplified model. They don't have to worry about selling stale cupcakes. They don't have to worry. They just have to be nice. And they're in the South, they're always nice. And they just have to tell them, and like we have a welcome experience, right? Where they call it the gatekeeper system, where they greet them, they ask them if they've been in, they thank them for coming, and they explain how it works. And 9 times out of 10, if you explain, hey, grab a glove and a bag, they do it. 65% of our business is those jars. That's where the money is. And they're having a good time doing it. So yeah, I mean, I'm all in. This is my retirement. I stayed home for 14 years, got divorced, started businesses in a town that maybe couldn't support what I want and my dreams. And so I just picked myself up and went where I could. That's where I am.
Love it.
Yeah.
Tracy Gunn, everybody.
Did I go way over? Okay, thank you.
Great job.
Thank you, guys.
Both Becky and Tracy did a great job talking about their experience.
Yeah.
And it is really interesting. Are you betting on the horse more or the jockey more, Matt?
Well, I want both.
You want
need
both. Yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, if something goes wrong, you want somebody that's been in the pits before, somebody that's gone through the thing before,
Yeah.
because it will go wrong. An employee will quit last minute. A
Yeah.
supplier won't show up. Somebody will not pay their bill. Something will happen, and you've got to have the person that's been down in the trenches solving the problem before. Both those ladies have done that. It's very obvious. And so what I really love, Tracy, as well, is that at one point in your life, you're like, I want to get out of this business. Now you're like, how do I go make $50 million from it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think more people should be thinking that way of how do I take my previous experience? Becky did a good job of this too. How do I take my previous experience and compound that into something that will make me way, way, way more money? It's not that Tracy was like it was the wrong business for her. She got bored because she grew mentally and everything else, right? Her mindset changed of like, I can do more. That's why you got bored with the thing that you were originally excited with in the beginning. And so now expanding this thing, like what Matt is saying, go for the freaking gusto, go for the 50 million, go for the bigger thing. This is think about all the stay-at-home moms that would buy a franchise. All these, you guys ever seen those men on Instagram that go, I make $100,000 a month so that my wife can have a hair salon that loses 20 grand a month? You guys ever see that stuff? So this is one of those franchises, if you went that route, that a stay-at-home mom could operate and run because your systems and your processes, like you actually are helping future women create opportunities for themselves that otherwise would not have the guts to go and build their own business. You're building the model for them, Tracy. And so that is also your franchise buyers who you used to be, which is the mom that raised the kids that want to get back out into the world. They want to have low risk, good profit. Dude, this is much bigger than a 10-store thing. So congratulations, really, really good. Luz, why don't you stand on stage? People need to see you.
We do a bathroom break? Can I?
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
should we go do a side by side?
I could, yeah, sword fight.
Turn your mic off, by the way, because I've peed sometimes on these lives where.
Yeah. Cut my mic, yeah.
Guys, we'll be back in 5 minutes. Are back. We are back. We are back. Thank you guys for being patient. Matt had to go pee. Attorneys also do pee, just so you guys know.
We're human too.
All right, so we have two more presenters today. Becky and Tracy, you guys did such a great job. Thank you so much for that fun stuff. Now, let's do a little learning lesson for like 3-4 minutes as people are shuffling back in and getting settled back into their note taking. I decide I want to go do a deal with Becky.
Yep.
Do I just go hire an attorney? What kind of some questions I should ask you? Let's say you are not you.
Okay.
You just know what you know.
Okay. Oh, what are we doing wrong here?
You're muted.
Oh,
There we go.
check.
There he goes.
Testing.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
You're
all
hot
right.
now. Okay,
I
so
want to really make sure no one heard me pee.
yeah, nobody heard
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
I did. I was standing next to you. It was great.
Yeah, very powerful.
That testosterone's working for you.
Very powerful stream.
So let's say I like Becky's deal.
Yeah.
What are some steps I should take
Yeah.
before I say yes to something? What are the first things I should do? Email Becky and say, Becky, I'm interested. Can we get on a Zoom? Should I waste Becky's time by just picking her brain like a zombie would? Should I go through the deck again and formulate questions?
Yeah,
Should I get an attorney involved?
I think if you're doing it for the very first time, you need some advice. And it could be an attorney, it could be a mentor or someone else that's done some business deals like you're looking to do. Now, Becky's deal was pretty straightforward because she's like, it's going to be a lender. That's, we talked about the last deal makers, you got lender, cash partner, investor, and those are different levels of complexity. Lender is actually very straightforward, right? It's going to be a promissory note. Becky already said the term, I think, was 5 years, 12% interest, amortized over 30. So if you like that deal, you kind of know what the terms are going to be. So now you got to figure out, how do I underwrite this and make sure that I'm going to get that this is going to be a good investment. And so I think that would be getting into a conversation with Becky, pressing for some of her assumptions and her numbers. There were some kind of unknowns, I think, that were there, the septic, and she was full disclosure on some of those things. Some of them are minor hurdles. Some of them, I don't think any were major red flags on hers. I think on Becky's, and let's say, and just me and we both said this, was the SBA loan might be a more cost-effective way for her to fund her deal than a private lender, because I'm looking at 12% for 900 grand secured by a 300,000 piece of property. It's 600,000. That's an unsecured loan. I don't love that. Now I might ask, my next question might be,
Cross collateral?
can I collateralize in the other properties? You have other short-term rentals, I know. Do you have equity in those? If there's another 600K of equity, that's pretty fast for me to get to say yes. If you're like, nah, I got maybe 300K of equity, so you're gonna have 600K effectively secured and another 300K unsecured. Unsecured is okay, so I might say, all right, well, Becky, I don't want to sign a note and be the lender to, Christmas is Great LLC, whatever your name was, I want Becky signing that note. So I'm going to ask for a personal guarantee so that if this concept doesn't work, I'm going to go sue her personally. And that's a risk too, I think, for Becky and anyone else taking debt, especially if you do a personal guarantee or you put up other collateral, is I'm the bank, I'm coming after you, right? If it's instead a deal like Tracy's, which she was doing equity, I get 10% of the profit, but I also can get wiped out. That 10% could be worth nothing, and I don't have any recourse. I'm not the bank. I was an investor for equity. So I get the upside, but I also am going to bear the risk of I could go to zero, and I have no ability to go after any assets of Becky. So I think you got to look at the deals differently and just understand, where's my risk? And I think when you're lending money, in a lending rate of return of 12%, I got to be really certain I'm going to make my money back. I can't lose. If I'm lending, let's say you're lending $1 million in 10 $100,000 loans, right? If one of those goes bad, the interest rate of 10% on the other 9, all of my profits that I've made are going to go on that one that went bad.
Yeah.
Like I'm back to square one if I didn't even lend the money. You've got to really have strong certainty you're going to get paid back on a loan, because I don't make more than 12%. On an equity deal, that 10% could be way better than a 12% return, right? That 10% equity interest, I could have a 10x multiple on that money. I could have a huge return. So I'm willing to have the downside risk of getting wiped out. But on a lender deal, I want to feel really good that I'm going to get paid back. I want collateral. I want personal guarantees. So that's how I'm thinking about it.
I love that. Great advice. Tracy, I had a thought. Matt and I were talking during the break. You're raising 250, right? My suggestion is don't take 250 from one person. I would max, instead of doing a minimum investment, I would do a maximum investment. And I'll tell you why. Because at some point when you expand into phase number 2, you're not going to have 500 people between YouTube and Zoom to be looking at your deal. I mean, you have your own brand and people know who you are and all of that kind of stuff, which is nice. And you'll have a lot of people inquire. But people typically invest very quickly because they're emotionally tied to it. I'm excited. Like, I want to go to a candy store right now, right? So people get excited and they write a check. In, let's say, a year, you decide, let's go and expand. I want to raise another 250. Now you got to go back and pitch and present and find those people. Maybe they're in your database and go, hey guys, we're doing a round 2 again. If you took on 5 investors, maybe 7, maybe 10 for that 250, who do you go back to go to phase 2? Those same people, because they're already invested. They see the proof. They're like, dude, I'm doubling down. Let's go. Like, I'll even throw my profits back into the next deal. I'm committed to this thing. But if you get one person and it's like their full, self-directed account, and they go roll all that money in there, and then you go, hey, investor, we're ready for phase 2. They go, dude, I'm tapped out. So you got to go back and work again to promote and do anything other than expand your stores. You have to go back and expand your database of investors. So my suggestion is take on more investors so that you can go back to them. And I would even do an inquiry of like, well, how much money would you like to invest? Okay, cool. Take a database. Like, we just did this. We raised $1.8 million last week for some of my stuff. And we looked at all of our investors and how much they had. Some guy who's like, hey, I have $800,000 I want to invest. And I go, we'll take 2. I want to keep some dry powder ready for maybe the next phase. So just a suggestion for you, because you have access to a lot of high-level people. I mean, think about this. Matt's group, our Owners Club, Subto, Gator, everybody in our community, they funded everybody's deals last Dealmaker. Everybody from Dealmaker last time got funded 100%. And actually, some of them were overfunded to the point where they said, Matt, you're over lawyering me right now. And they didn't.
I got booted.
He got booted.
On like Sunday, and we're funded Monday. And I was like, I was okay with that, though. I was okay with that.
Yeah. He sent me the email. I was like, oh, Matt was lawyering too much. This is too good. Which means that you had so many people looking at these deals. So take the time. Don't take, when people go, I want in. Same thing with you, Becky. Somebody's like, I want all in. Mitigate bring in more people. The other thing too, here's a second reason why this is important. You will every once in a while find investors that are a PITA, a pain in the, right? And there's been times where I go, here's your $1,200 back, you freaking, not $1,200, but 25 grand. You'll get people, because it's interesting. People that invested $1 million, you'll never hear from them. People that invest 25,000 are like, hey, what's the update? Bro, we talked 3 days ago. What are you talking about? What's the update? You were at the project 3 days ago. Do you want me to be an update master or a project master? Don't. So my thought is, same thing with you, Becky, as people reach out to you and go, hey, I want to be a part of this. This is cool. How many people are into glamping, by the way, in YouTube and Zoom? Okay. How many people are into glamping? Cool. So those are the people that are going to be excited about your project. My project manager, Heidi Silva, she's in Subto. I hired her from Subto 4 years ago. She is obsessed with glamping. She's obsessed. She's like, Pace, get into glamping, get into glamping. And I said, I don't want to get into glamping. I want to invest in somebody else's glamping stuff, right? There's things I'm really good at, and there's things I'd rather have Owners Club members be good at that I can deploy as an LP or as a partner or whatever. So for you, same thing. You don't want one investor or two. You want a handful, because if there's one of them that is a pain in the butt, wants to choose the paint colors and tell you what to do, you're the boss. You've made that clear. Both of you girls are the boss. You know your stuff. You have the experience. You don't want somebody that hasn't done what you've done coming in and writing a check for 25 grand and then telling you how to do stuff. Do you want that? No. So the way you help yourself from avoiding that is by taking on more investors at a smaller dollar amount for both of those reasons. One, to raise more money capital, for your second phase, your second project, whatever it is. And then two, to avoid having people in that are annoying. You can very easily go to one of the other investors and go, hey, would you like to improve your position? I'm looking to buy somebody else out. Just a quick tip. Okay. By the way, has Luz put this presentation together so incredibly well, or what? And Birdie. So here's something that I got to point out. You guys had tryouts before this. Okay, you didn't just go, hey, let's just get anybody up here. You wanted to have them try out. You vetted these things up front. You coached them along. You had them practice. It's very obvious that they practiced. They did an incredible job. But a large part of that is from you and Birdie.
And the team.
And the team.
So Chloe and Ryan
Of
and
course.
Rich, they're all amazing to work with.
Yes, but mostly you and Birdie.
Most of the team.
Okay, who do we have next, Liz?
Aloha from Hawaii.
Aloha.
We have Courtney Taguchi.
I love it. Come on up, Courtney.
Well, first I'll give you guys one of these.
Yes.
Candy?
Amazing.
Candy.
What are you, nuts? Sorry, there's macadamia nuts in there.
I know.
What are you,
Kids,
nuts?
maybe for your kids.
Oh yeah, my wife will eat those.
Love it.
Ready to go?
Yes.
So hello, my name is Courtney Taguchi, born and raised in Hawaii. And I know the challenges that come with living in paradise, and housing affordability is one of those. And the mission for my cause the cause for my mission is to provide opportunities for families to achieve home ownership, communities to grow stronger, and for investors to create wealth while making a meaningful difference. So I've been married for 22 years to my lovely wife and a father of 3 amazing children. I've been in the federal government, which I recently left 2 years ago. I was there for 21 years as a crane mechanic and the last 11 years as a crane inspector. And I started my real estate journey in actually 2014. Since then, I've completed over 100 projects in Hawaii. And in 2021, I transitioned over to new construction after realizing that it could be a little less risky. So mainly most of my projects from 2014 to 2021 was all fix and flips. And boy, let me tell you the problems that comes up with fix and flips, like many of you know. But it taught me valuable lessons about resilience, about creativity, and the power of a solid process. So Hawaii's market is one of the most challenging in the nation. With high demand and very limited supply, it creates ideal conditions, especially for new construction. So our projects are strategically located in high growth areas to maximize value. And also there's a strong buyer interest at affordable prices, which result in quick sales. So these are just some of the examples of homes that are already completed and already sold throughout the years. And so the investment opportunities for a lending opportunity, but I am open to a PMP if the numbers do make sense and if the investment is substantial.
For those of you guys that don't know what a PMP is, that's what we call in our community a pimp, also known as a private money partner, somebody who's not lending money necessarily. They're deploying capital and getting ownership in the deal. So they would become your partner. So depending on who you are, Becky was looking for a private money lender. She also would be open to a private money partner. Tracy was looking for an equity partner, which would be a PMP, somebody that brings in money and becomes a partner, gets equity. You are looking for a PMP exclusively?
No, lender, depending on the value, depending on the investment amount, we can talk about and negotiate. We can talk about and negotiate terms from there.
Love it.
Yeah, so This is just a general overview of my projects that I normally do. So the build cost is 380,000, which includes the land purchase. My ARV for these properties are 520,000, which leaves a sizable margin to minimize some of the risk. So the target market for each potential project is a minimum of 18%. And so the investment opportunity is for a $50,000 minimum investment with a 12 to 15% annualized return, and which I'll go into more details on the next slide. So typically, we make the terms based off a 12-month or less hold time, but our projects normally are a lot shorter than that. So we have two options to suit your goals, whatever fits the criteria that you're looking for in the meantime. So option one is a 12% annualized return. So it's a shorter commitment and it's limited to the active build phase of the project. So permits are already secure, land is already purchased. And normally, if I'm going that route, that's already coming from money out of my pocket that I go and purchase the land and get the permits already done. Option two is a little higher, 15% ROI. And it's a little bit longer commitment, which involves the land purchase and also the permitting process. So, but a good thing about, one thing I want to point out with this option is that in the last 3 months ago, the county has already approved 2 of my floor plans. Because I've been building these homes for over 3 years, the county has already approved my floor plans so that I eliminate majority of the permitting process because the structure has already gone through the process of being engineered and calculated and approved. So realistically, all the county is verifying at that point is setbacks and that sort of septic systems and water systems. That would be the only thing. So this is where the fun stuff comes in. I like to talk about my process that I call the New Build Express. And this process is simply a process that allows me to build 15 or more homes a year. And that's on the conservative side that I'm building. And it operates like a conveyor belt or like an assembly line. So as each trade finishes their specific phase in the build, they move on to the next home because we already got multiple lots going on, multiple projects going on. So they're moving from one to the next, which I'll show on the next slide. And so once the team completes that phase of the project, they move on to the next home. And that enables us to have multiple homes progressing simultaneously throughout the process. Right, so the key benefits. So this is kind of a general view of the assembly line conveyor belt system. But the key benefits of this system that we created is it reduces downtime. It controls costs and it allows us to have more timely project completions. So currently we have 8 projects that are in progress in different phases of this wheel, with 11 more in permitting and with 7 more in escrow to purchase. So these are lots. I typically buy 2 to 3 lots every month. And so as acquisitions is going on, land prep is going on, foundation is going on, the team before will start that progress on the next lot that we're purchasing. So it pretty much just runs like a conveyor belt or like an assembly line. And that way each trade can get better at their specific task. So being that we're building the same 7 floor plans, we know what materials to use, we know how much materials to use, and we can cut down on our wasted time and our delays. So over the years, I've generated a lot of great relationships with contractors, with vendors, with local authorities to help me streamline this process and improve throughout the years. So the team's already in place as far as every single trade, the permit people are in place, the architects are already in place, and we do this pretty much every other week as I'm buying another lot. We're starting another process again from the beginning. And so we literally just put a house in the market last week Tuesday. We went into escrow on Thursday. So, and we're building a house right next door that's about 2 weeks away from completion, but that one is going into escrow either today or tomorrow or Monday. Sorry. So this is sort of phase 1. Or do you guys have any questions so far?
Bro, you're dialed in. We have no
Keep going.
questions. This is great.
Okay, perfect. Well, we'll go with this for now. So if you guys want to contact me, here's my contact info. You can scan the QR code and connect with me. But this is sort of phase 1. So phase 2 that we're working on, that I'm currently working on right now, is actually building the buyers list. So instead of building a home and finding buyers, now the focus is gonna be building buyers and building the homes according to what the buyers are demanding. So a list is being created with the 7 floor plans ranging in different sizes and different price points. And so the buyers will let me know what type of homes that they're interested in, and that will allow us to focus on what floor plans to build more moving forward. And I guess we can go into this. So these are some of the past projects that we did. So these are all very recent projects.
These are in Hawaii?
This is in Hawaii.
The fact that something's selling for 640 or 540 or
That's
520,
I'll get to a slide that I want to show.
mind blowing
talk
to
about
me.
that.
520 for a single family home in Hawaii is crazy.
Correct. So here's another example. And these are recent. So 391,000. So that's what I mentioned about the market outlook, and what we're building is that we're building at affordable prices. And so buyers are coming to our doorsteps and asking for when our next home is being completed. This is another example. So these are just 3 different floor plans right here that we just completed. And so this is a graph of what you were just mentioning, Pace, about the affordability. So for those of you folks who don't know, we have 4 counties that make up the Hawaii Islands. And so 3 of the counties, the median price point of the homes are all over $1 million. And in the last remaining county where my developments are, the median price point at this point is $580,000. So, but if you look at the income level, it's very similar. So even though we're roughly averaging, I guess, about an $80,000 median income over here, over these 4 counties, that these are over $1 million, and this is less than half the price. So that's what's driving this market, and people relocating from these other counties and islands over to this county right here. So that's the whole process of what we're doing and the mission of how we're getting it. But yeah.
Incredible. Give it up for this man. First thing that pops into my mind is like, where's the bottleneck on this operation? It's got to be the land. How are we finding enough land, Courtney?
I literally could buy 5 a week if I wanted to.
Why is that? How is that?
Because I'm in a market where land is abundant, and I'm in a market where there's, so I'm.
The lots are permitted and the subdivided, like
So
you're
it's
not.
actually 2 different subdivisions that I'm building in.
Okay.
One subdivision is a 1/4 acre lots. Another subdivision is 1 acre lots. And these were subdivisions that were generated in the 60s and in the 80s. So they're 2 of the largest subdivisions in the nation, but they're undeveloped. So they were created, subdivided into individual lots, but people bought them. And the story goes that Donald Trump was interviewed on Oprah Winfrey Show. So this is years ago. And Oprah asked Donald Trump, where is the next best place to invest? Because that's when he was known as the real estate and not the politician. So he mentioned this specific subdivisions, and overnight, these lots went up $30,000 in price. So the people that bought it when they were initially developed, they were buying it for $1,000, $2,000 a lot. And when Donald Trump made that claim, it went up to $30,000 a lot overnight. And so now these lots are selling anywhere between, on the 1/4 acre, these lots are 60,000, and on the 1 acre, they're about 110, 120.
Wow, that's a lot. Get
That's a
it?
lot.
Get
There's
it?
a lot of
Oh, got him. Sorry, dad jokes. Okay, so you're buying these lots for 60K.
In the 1/4 acre division, yes.
So essentially, these people bought these pieces of land because Donald Trump told them to do so. Freaking MAGA heads, they're weirdos.
So these people have owned them for 30, 40.
And they did
50
nothing
years.
with them.
Nothing with them.
And
So
now you're
they're
coming
just
in buying
liquidating.
for 60K.
Exactly,
Okay, cool. And there's enough demand in that specific area?
correct.
Okay, and how are you controlling your prices on the build because of the relationships that you have?
Yeah, I guess that would be. you could put it
And
to that.
also the frequency in which you keep them busy,
Exactly,
right? You have one drywall guy that says, okay, I'm going to work for you if you're a general contractor and you have a drywall guy, it's the first time you work with him, he's going to charge you 10 grand for, let's say, X project. 6 months later, you've given him 20 of those same projects. The price goes down to like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 because he doesn't have to market. He doesn't have to chase down his money. The
Exactly.
contractor just gets to be a contractor, right? When the contractor has to go land a job, do a bid, do all that crap, that's where things get expensive. But if you just keep giving these guys work over, like every 2 weeks, they're starting a new house,
Right.
you can keep your costs really, really low, which is one of the, seems like the best opportunities you have there.
Exactly. So somebody was just asking me what my build cost is per square foot. So it's about 125 to 130 a square
That's
foot.
so low,
That is insane.
Yeah.
especially in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like child labor involved? What's going on?
No child labor involved. So actually,
Wow.
I have contractors that are lined up that want to do work for me, but
So what happens when you pay your bills?
coming through, exactly, and coming from the fix and flip side of the world, I know the challenges that comes with not having enough work for your contractors, and and it's a very sporadic industry as far as the fix and flip.
Yeah.
So when you have work for them this month and next month, and you don't have anything for them on the third month, they're looking to move somewhere else, or they're going to work for someone else. And when you need them on the fourth month, they're tied up on another project. So going into this, when I transitioned over, I'm a big vision guy too. I like the whiteboard thing. So I like to whiteboard the whole process out. I went into this learning from the mistakes of all the fix and flips and learning from contractor issues, what could be adjusted to make it a little more streamlined, what could improve the process, and how I could build a relationship more. So going into it, my first process was I didn't have no network or no connections in this market. And so I went into it wanting to meet the local inspectors, the county inspectors, because they could give me a great understanding of contractors to work with and what I would need to be, or what I would need to do to streamline this process and get it moving forward a lot quicker. So that was the first step. So instead of looking for contractors, I went in and built relationships with inspectors, with county inspectors.
That's a really good point. So when I was a general contractor, we would have the inspectors from the city of Phoenix come by our properties, and we would meet them at the property. We were doing our pre-drywall inspection. And it was interesting to see these inspectors that had been, driving around in their little city truck, looking at all these projects. They would know what contractor did what plumbing and electrical. Oh, this is A1, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is so-and-so. I see how they did the thing. That's a really great thing.
Exactly.
People do not do that.
People do not do that.
That's great. The inspectors know who do good work.
The inspectors can be a great reference for contractors as well too, because they have to inspect every job. So they know all the good contractors and they know all the bad ones.
Yeah, I did this the wrong way. This is just to your credit. How many times you've done fix and flips? You've been through the thought process of, let me go to the guy that's in the Home Depot parking lot waiting for work. Let me go to the Craigslist people. Let me go to the Facebook groups and see what contractor I should get the cheapest price on. Meanwhile, your inspector fails their inspection 7 times and you're burning hard money because you chose the guy that's cheaper.
Right.
And ironically, even though your really good guys might be a little bit more expensive than those other knuckleheads, the speed in which you finish the project and the reliability you can move on to the next project amplifies.
Absolutely. And the way that we structured our pay as far as everyone receiving payments also incentivizes them to do quality work on the first approach, because they only get paid on milestones upon completion. So after inspection reports get generated from the county inspectors and I receive the inspection reports, then they receive portion of their payment. So I'm not hiring a GC to manage everybody. I have project managers that manage all the subs, because a GC is going to tack on his fee and everything else to manage a project. So I have my own project managers that I utilize to manage all the projects.
Okay, one thing I don't like about the model, and I could be convinced otherwise, I put a hoodie on today, and on the back of the hoodie, it said, buyers are liars, sellers are worse, right? It's one of my famous quotes. Buyers are a pain in the ass. And so what you're doing is you are building a buyer's list, letting them buy preemptively. Okay, I have a buddy who's a builder in Matt's neighborhood. Matt's neighborhood's people are the worst, bro. Like anybody lived by Matt, those are the bougiest people. If you sell a house to somebody in the $20 million market before it's completed, and now they get to come in and like customize things, oh my gosh, dude, those people are horrible.
Right.
So Bob Norton, Jerry Norton's brother, he builds in PB, and he goes, I no longer let people buy the house before I finish it, because then they come in, they sneak into the property while my crews are working, and they're like, why didn't you do this and fix this and da 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 da. I imagine you have that mitigated, but my main question is this. Are you allowing them to customize these things, or is it, this is the floor plan, I'll let you pick the color and the carpet, that's it?
No, so I have 3 different interior design themes. Farmhouse, a mid-century modern, and a modern. That's all they get to pick. I already have the SKUs and the items for each type of style. And so I will only find the buyer's list is only to generate the interest and figure out what floor plans is in demand. Only a month before the home is complete, then an email will go out to these buyers letting them know that this home is going to be complete in a month. So now is their chance to submit an offer prior to us putting it on the market. So I'm not finding a buyer from the start and letting them pick out any finishes besides one of those 3 design themes.
I love it. Can you tell he's done this a couple times?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I love the New Build Express. I love the New Build Express. Great idea. Makes sense on how to, keep your team busy, keep a process. I love the conveyor belt concept. I'm so shocked you said 125. We have a huge private equity firm that does infrastructure, and they basically develop for Lennar and D.R. Horton. And they said, we used to be home builders and we just turned into developers of the land. They said Lennar and D.R. Horton for their, they'll build
Cookie cutter
800 square
house,
foot cookie cutter houses, and they'll do 600 of them. Same thing, 7 different floor plans. Exactly. They build at $97 a foot.
Oh my word.
You're pretty damn close to that. And in Hawaii, I mean, they're going to like South Carolina, the Carolinas, Virginia.
But it didn't take me, it took me 3 years to build the team that I have now. So,
Yeah.
And
you're doing an affordable price. I love it. Let's get back. What was the investor opportunity? You skipped through that quickly.
12% for a year, or 15% if you're willing to carry longer so that you can help out through the permit
so
process.
realistically, this option 1 time frame will be about 6 months.
Okay.
And that will be from once permits are secured all the way to closing on the sale. Option 2 will be about, right now with my plans being pre-approved, like I mentioned, it'll be about 8.5 to 9 months.
So is there a lien on the property?
Yeah,
Okay. Your money's in already on the land in option 1?
yeah.
Or is there any debt in there? Yeah.
No, that would be my money.
Your money's in on
Yeah.
the lot.
Mhm.
Okay. So you're in first position.
Right.
Okay. Do you want, and you like the money all lent at once? Do you take draws on it, or how do you do it?
I guess the ideal situation would be all the money at once. I'm fine.
That's
with paying
great for the
interest.
lender too,
Yeah,
because I
I'm
want
fine with
interest on
paying
all of it
interest,
from day
exactly.
one.
Right. And it
We
makes
could do it in
easier
phases if I'm worried about the equity, but, okay.
because we're moving through these projects so quickly that the last thing I would want to do is to slow the team down by not being able to have the funds
Yeah.
to pay them moving forward. So ideally, I don't mind paying a little more interest, but having the funds available to get the guys completed, moving forward to the next phase and moving on to the next job is more important for me.
And you have a track record. You said you have
Absolutely.
8 in progress right now,
11 in permitting.
11 in
And 7 in
permitting,
escrow.
and
7 in escrow.
8 in progress, meaning you're constructing, you're building right now.
Yeah, we're building right now.
7 in escrow.
Mhm.
You're the king of Hawaii.
I'll be on social media with you guys one day.
Well, I mean, you are right now, bro. You're on YouTube right now.
So, okay, let's go over to option 2 though. Well, how much do you need on option 1? What's the amount what are you trying to raise?
I think he said 50K.
Yeah.
50K is the
I mean,
minimum?
we can talk about it more, but I just don't want 10 people at 25. I would rather
Yeah.
have, so.
Well, what if so how much is it per property that you need? 380?
380, that's with build cost and with land.
Okay, what if like that comprised of 5 people, let's say, that come in 50, 100K, you get to 380. How are you doing that on the loan? For example, are we all going on the same mortgage, deed of trust? I don't know what
Yeah.
Hawaii is, a mortgage state?
Mortgage,
Okay,
correct.
we're all going in a percentage amount based on how much we lent.
Yes,
So I don't want to be the guy in 3rd position, right?
Right.
I want to be, okay, you've done that before.
yes,
You've done that before.
yes.
Okay, good. Okay. Sorry, I was just making sure. Okay, I
So
like that.
let's say that 5 of us all get together. Like Matt's got great questions. We all form an LLC together. Is that the way we would want to do that, Matt?
Well, there's 2 ways. We could do an LLC of the investors that are gonna go in. That's more work though.
Right.
We got an LLC to set up. Don't get
You
me
didn't
wrong.
even want to be in an LLC with me.
Well, no, we could. We could.
A couple months ago, he's like, well, I don't really want to be in an LLC with you, but like we could do this. I'm like, all right, bro. Like,
If we just said we're gonna put X dollars in it and
yeah.
let's go, I'd do it. But I don't want to do it deal by deal because every deal could be a little different.
yeah. So you're
You can
saying,
still invest it deal by deal.
but you would do it deal by deal in an LLC with those 5 people together.
Well, that's the problem. That's why I don't like it for a one and done deal. I don't like doing a new LLC for a one and done when it's a loan.
This is,
effectively.
yeah.
What do you
so just to
mean
make
by that? What
clear-
would you rather have?
If there was 5 people gonna go in, or me and you were gonna go in on something, and we're like, well, we're doing this one, but then we're gonna do another one and another one and another one. We're gonna use that same LLC.
Yeah.
As the mechanism that we partner into deals.
Correct.
So I like LLCs as partnerships, but if it's really the investment at the end of the day is just gonna be a loan, I'm like, let's just all go on the same note, undivided interest based on how much we're lending.
And your individual LLC would be named on that note.
Exactly.
All in the same position.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
All
then,
shared position.
yeah, and then we're all in first position with
Mhm.
our undivided interest. And if we got to foreclose, we all get paid back based on whatever the proceeds come from the sale.
Right.
So I just think it's faster and easier, and I lend money a lot in that way with other people on deals where I'm a % on the note if I'm not funding the whole thing. And I like that when it's like, oh, I'm doing a deal with somebody that I've never done a deal with, and I don't know I'm going to do a deal with them again.
Right.
But if it was like, no, this is a partner I'm going to do a lot of deals with, then we do the LLC.
Yeah, and just to be clear, this is for ongoing projects moving forward. As I mentioned, I'm buying 2 lots a month on average, but there is, and I did mention about the P&P part of it. So just for the sake of this presentation, I didn't want to confuse most of the audience. So I do have a tiered structure for people that are reinvesting and ongoing. So then there's a preferred return per se and an equity portion to it. So as they reinvest their money and depending on their amount, they increase their tier level.
So if I'm stacking, if I
Exactly.
stack my money, I get more money.
Yep.
Okay. One thing I want to point out about the 12% 6 month. Okay. So you're looking for just for everybody that's in the audience, when you're raising capital like this, you have to understand who are you talking to? Who's the avatar you're talking to? What Courtney's done a great job of is given an option to people that are also they played the game of real estate themselves, right? The problem with a guy like Matt, a guy like me, is that people come and present, freaking glamping sites to us that we want to get involved in, candy things we want to get involved in. So we don't want to have our money locked up for a really, really long period of time necessarily. We want to have some long-term positions, but mostly we want to have some short-term positions so we can keep rolling and have fun, because this is more of a game at some level. It's like, this is just fun for us, right? So what you've done is you've given an option to people that are like, yo, I am currently working on my own projects. I might need access to my capital in 6 months. So I'm going to choose option 1 because I'd rather have that money making me money than sitting in my IRA doing nothing.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. And so that's a great option for people. I don't even think it's a percentage decision. I think it's a completely different personality decision. If somebody goes 15%, I want to be in longer term. And also the equity position is also, I want to be in longer term. I'm not actively looking for other projects. I want to be in this thing, right?
Right.
Versus a guy like Matt, a guy like me, we might go into phase 2 of Tracy's candy thing. And we might want to have access to our cash. And we want we want the ability to have that decision in 6 months. So I really like that you divided that up in option 1, option 2, and then also in option 3, which is what you're about to tell us about.
Yeah, so that would be a more tiered structure based upon. So normally I offer that for investors that are willing to commit 150,000 or more, and so they get percentage based upon. So if someone comes in with 400,000, obviously they're going to get a higher percentage than someone that comes in with 150,000. So the tiered structure, the table kind of shows all of that and shows what their equity portion will be in as far as on the profit side as well too, along with their preferred return.
What does that look like?
Oh, I for the sake of I didn't show it here, but if you guys want to contact me, we can have I can send you guys a table of the tiered structure and show you guys how that works.
Incredible.
Is that on a per property deal when that property sells, or how does that work?
Yeah, that would be on a per property per deal. And so, but the way it works, if you start off, so if just, for example, if you start off with 150,000, you'll start on deal number 1. But if you start off with, if you invest on your first project with 400,000, you'll automatically start off at deal number 4. So deal number 4 will give you a higher percentage return or higher equity portion versus deal number 1. So 1, 2, 3, deal 1, 2, 3 will be a 5% equity portion as well. Deal 4 to 5 will be a 10% equity portion. Deal 6 to 8 is a 15%, and deal 9 moving on is 20%. On top of the preferred return of 10%.
So that'd be 20, let's say someone gives you $1 million. You're gonna give them a 10% pref and 20% on the profit of that specific, what a
Correct.
property sells.
Correct.
Because I'm not, okay. And so it's not like your entity
Not the
profits.
not the entity profit.
It's the deal profits, which I actually like because I don't want to get into, is your truck in there?
Right.
Are you expensing your home office?
Throwing Snickers bars in there on the Home Depot receipt, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, let's not.
All right.
But it's just, we can look at your costs on the property,
Exactly.
settlement statement. Okay. Interesting.
You had a Milski? Let's go.
Come to Hawaii.
Do I have to come to Hawaii?
No, you don't have to.
That's a 6-hour flight or something, right?
6 hours.
Which island is this?
This is on the Big Island.
Okay. All right.
I bought a sub-2 deal on the Big Island 2 years ago, got 1.9% interest on a sub-2 deal right on the ocean. I've never been there. This might be a good opportunity to go see this operation.
Absolutely.
It's tax deductible. So we're gonna
Are
write it
people
off.
moving to Hawaii? Like or people just having babies there? What's going on?
No, people is moving. A lot of retirees from the cold states are moving to Hawaii, and being that the 3 other counties that I showed on the graph, with the median price of over $1 million, these retirees don't want to buy a home for $1 million.
Is that
So
your
they're
buyer,
buying-
retirees, or is it also
No,
like
it's a
first-time
com-
home buyers? People have
first-time
been
home
renting for
buyers.
10 years that are like,
Exactly.
now I can actually afford a house.
Exactly. And it's a lot of people from these 3 counties that can't afford to purchase a home that are moving to this county because they can buy a brand new home. So you can buy a home in these 3 counties, a 60-year-old home that looks like a Cracker Jack box for $1 million, literally. I mean, or you could buy a brand new home like what we're building for between 400 to 600,000.
Yeah. I think anyone going into Hawaii trying to do what you're doing, hell no, would I put any money in. You though, you've been there,
Born and
you
raised.
figure out fix and flip,
Mhm.
you know this, the inspectors, you figured out your team, you got the New Build Express rolling. Huge. So I think Hawaii is like one of those places like, like people have been trying to like take over Afghanistan forever and no one can get into that territory except the Afghans, it's just like one of those countries.
yeah.
It's like Hawaii, like everybody tries to go in there and make money and they're like, you're not gonna make it here.
The locals will freaking push you out.
Yeah.
And it's a unique market. It's a unique market, and you have to know the fine details. And it could be a difference between losing 100,000 or making 100,000.
Yeah.
If I put in $500,000, what's the check I'm getting at the end of the year?
I guess it depends on whether you want to go
I choose option 3.
option 3.
How many deals can you get through, I guess, huh?
Yeah,
That's the first thing you gotta figure
That would
out.
be it. So I meant to give.
So I'm making
one-
my 10% pref, so I'm getting 50
Yep.
Gs.
Yep.
Okay, then however many times you can roll that 500K, you probably could roll that.
theoretically, it would be like 1.5 times, right? Because I would finish one home, but then I would be in the middle of the next home.
Okay, and your profit on these things is, let's say, 100 grand, so I'd get an extra 20, so I'd make 80 grand. Okay, I'd make 80 grand on my $500,000 investment.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're looking at like an 18% interest. 18% is what you're basically making on that deal.
Yeah.
But if I had 750 or 800, you're rolling that. You're actually doing 2 houses simultaneously with my money. So essentially you're rolling that money. You're doing 4 houses, not 1.5.
Correct. And when you get past the certain amount of deals or the amount increases and brings you up to next year, then your percentage goes up, right? So if you're getting at the 20% mark, then now it's a lot more than
Can that cash still be secured on the property?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I mean, dude, do you know how many people have money sitting in, how much money is sitting in people's retirement
I
accounts?
was gonna say this is a great deal for retirement accounts.
You kidding me? 20%?
Because they want to roll to the next property too.
Exactly.
So.
And
give me-
those are the
give me-
people that want to be in for the whole permitting process because
Yeah.
their money just sitting in the IRA.
Yeah, I got a 10-year, 20-year horizon on this money anyways.
Exactly.
And a lot of people are not like Pace and I in the sense that we like looking at deals and doing deals. They're like, I don't want the money to come back, put it in the next deal
Exactly.
and let it grow.
At 20% compound, like imagine I could just roll that 20 grand, 20%, 20%, 20%, just keep it rolling. Because your clients at directed IRA, they're not pulling that 20% out, they're rolling it in.
Exactly. They have to go find another deal.
Exactly.
And they're like, I don't want to, most of them.
Dude, that's I mean, essentially, I
This is
could live in Hawaii if I put $1 million with you.
I'll
I
book your
could.
flight tomorrow. We can go.
My wife says she's bringing the bikini, so I guess I'm convinced.
He says, I'm in.
I'm in.
He's
I'm
like,
under for
"No
the-"
way." Can I just say this is pretty, you did an awesome job, Courtney,
Thank
by
you.
the way.
Thank
And
you.
by the way, I crap on a lot of people's deals. I feel like I've been like super positive today. And Jared knows I'm not always like this. I tell people they have dumb ideas all the time, but you got, I do. I'm good at that actually. But I love this. Like you've really found a niche. You've figured out how to do it. You're addressing the affordability issue. That's
Mhm.
that's the problem. You're in a market you know and understand. You've learned some of the hard things. Man, you can't invest in all these though.
That's the problem. We were just talking about standing next to each other at the urinals, like, bro, we getting all these deals? Like, what's up?
love
This is amazing. Luz and Birdie, again, this has a lot to do with the upfront, but the work you guys have all put in your lives, I mean, going into, back into Tracy for just a second, I want to get out of this thing that I have all this experience in. And then really it's your experience being up on the stage that shines through more than anything else. Same thing with Becky. Like that was the first thing I saw with Becky. I was like, literally, first word I wrote on my notepad was that about you. Same thing with you, Courtney. Like, I'm like, yeah, dude,
Awesome.
he's the guy. All the crap you went through in fixing and flipping is the reason why you're on the stage right now.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So many people do not pay attention to that, right? They don't pay attention to all this work that they're putting in, what it actually conveys into later in life. Like even when you started your title and escrow business for
Yeah.
those 3 years, did you not learn things in that helped you build your next business?
Oh, every piece of it. Best experience ever.
So congratulations, dude. This is let's give it up for Courtney. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Is Kaipo partners with you on this deal?
Yeah, we're partners on some of the deals.
Kaipo, come up here, brother. Come stand up here, dude. People need to know you, dude. The gangster of Hawaii right here. Stand up with each other so everybody knows who you guys are. Kaipo, are you an investor in these deals or what's up?
I mean, I help
Partners,
Courtney,
yeah.
yeah, we're partners, we're actually on the LLC together and everything.
Okay, and you're also from Hawaii.
Yeah, but I live here now, moved here.
You got island fever. You're like, I gotta get out of here.
I mean, I go home quarterly, like we go to check out the projects and stuff like that, but we live in here.
Okay, so long term, do I run out of lots? Is there a lot of lots?
They're
Like, am I gonna run out of these lots? And let's say I'm one of Matt's clients at Directed IRA. I got $1 million. I deploy $1 million with you. I'm making 20%. I'm loving this. This is great. But then all of a sudden, 5 years in, you guys run out of lots. Turns out there wasn't a lot of lots.
in one subdivision,
There's a lot.
in the 1 acre subdivision that I'm building in, there's 1,700 lots that are not developed.
So we can get rich.
You got 10, 20
And
year
in-
runway on this.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's only one subdivision.
Okay.
And there's still the other subdivision that
Where's your competition? Like who?
there's people that are doing maybe 1 or 2 a year, but nothing like, I mean, there's maybe one other friend investor of mine that builds a
But
lot
the
as
other
well.
big builders aren't gonna come into Hawaii.
No,
They're
they're
like,
not.
not gonna build the infrastructure, even though there's a ton of lots, there's a lot of lots.
Right.
There's not enough for them. They're like, they don't wanna go make the investment. It's too far out.
And their money comes from buying a big parcel and subdividing it. That's where they make a lot of their money. And then they But these are already subdivided lots that are broken into parcels, individual parcels. So
If
and they're
if
not.
I partner with you on this deal, we get some people in there. We're gonna name the LLC a lot of lots.
To make a lot of money for a lot of people.
Great job, guys. Proud of you guys. Amazing. Did you lift this morning, Kaipo? Oh, we can tell. He's got some of the biggest delts I've ever seen in my life. They look like boulders in his shirts. Luz, get up here. You're the boss of the show.
Last presenter today is Philip Ty.
Oh my gosh, Philip Ty. Guys, follow Philip Ty on Instagram. He's amazing. He's doing a great job building his brand. We're proud of this boy. He even wore a sport coat today. I don't think I've ever seen Phil Ty in a sport coat, but he looks phenomenal. You look good. You look so good. Now, Philip Ty, one of the smarter guys I've met in the last couple of years. He's going to go change the world. We already know that. I have no idea what he's presenting today. So, by the way, Luz and Birdie did not tell me anything. I've asked them. I want to be surprised. Did Matt know any of this stuff beforehand?
Not really until probably a couple minutes before. I kind of give him an idea.
So he had to come here today. He had to come here today to hear about it. Okay, so guys, I just want to let you guys know that are watching this. We're going to do more of these over the next several months. And you're welcome to anybody that's in our community, please, you're welcome to come here in person. We'd love to see you guys in person, but I didn't know about any of these things. I want to be surprised. And I'm friends with all of these people, but I had no idea that I was going to be pitched on certain things today this way. So this is freaking awesome. So Philip Ty, the stage is yours, brother.
Appreciate it, guys.
Give it up for Philip Ty.
Thank you, guys. So my opportunity today is a landscaping roll-up. A little bit about myself. I have these core values mean a lot to me: integrity, adaptability, accountability, and consistency. I'm pretty sure you know about consistency.
Oh, you're one of the most consistent people I've ever met.
So this is my track record so far. So I'm mostly a real estate investor by like trade, but I've done 60 fix and flips. I've done 80 wholesale transaction, 30 lending transaction. I manage 13 rentals of my own, and then I'm an LP in a 40 unit down in Buxton, North Carolina. And then about 2 years ago, I got into business buying because I wanted to be like Abraham Gray. I'm sure you guys know who Abraham Gray is.
We love Abraham.
Exactly. So I joined the whole deal maker with Carl Allen, and I learned how to buy a business, more or less. And then that led into more networking, partnerships, finding more deals. And so I ended up trying to wholesale a landscaping company and end up finding an end buyer. And then that person ended up giving us a fee, but also he ended up giving us equity in the deal.
Yes.
So we're like, let's do it. This is based out of Beaufort, Georgia, which is like the outskirts of Atlanta. So we bought our first landscaping company, zero down, back in 2024, $230,000. The business does about $400,000 in revenue, one employee, not like really small, mom and pop. And we actually got paid for that transaction because we got the working capital for that business. And then we end up scaling that company from $400,000 up to $917,000 in 1 year because they had no systems, no website, no sales process, no CRM, didn't do any marketing whatsoever. We just implemented just a little bit of those things, and then we grew it. So that's my first acquisition. My second acquisition, which I closed last month, was kind of the same situation. It was a broker deal, and the landscaping company has been on the market for about close to a year, had no traction, smaller company. And we end up offering a seller finance deal. We call it an annuity structure. We end up just paying the broker their fee, and then we seller finance the 90% of it, and then we just are operating it right now. So that's a little bit of my track record right now. So this is my thesis of what we're looking to acquire. So from left to right, we are focused on acquiring, growing, and optimizing landscaping companies with strong customer base and a solid financials. We identify the businesses that have potential to expand, then leverage our proven process that we've built over the last year and some change to increase revenue, and then improve operations, and then scale the team as necessary. Number two is our basic buy box as of right now. So a purchase price between $1 to $3 million. The industries we're looking at is landscaping, hardscaping, lighting, irrigation, and tree services with a net profit margins between 15 to 20%. They got to be in business for at least 3 years because you can't really get financing from the SBA if they don't have that. And then finally, a balanced customer concentration, meaning not one customer owns like 20% or more of the revenue, because if they leave from day one, that's 20% of your business kind of gone. So our demographics is baby boomers, since you guys probably already heard that they're a huge demographic of looking to retire, and they're just basically don't know what to do with their exits. So landscape owners with no marketing in place, no sales team, and does about $1 to $3 million in revenue. And then with a net profit margin of 15%, we're looking at for 6 employees or more with a general partner or general manager in place if we can. So we're in Atlanta market right now, and these are a bunch of bullet points that kind of encapsulate Atlanta in itself. So I'm gonna go over like lightly what it is. So, between 2020 and 2024, there's been an increase of residents of 250,000 folks coming in. It's forecast to be right around 7.9 million folks in 2050 to grow that big old market. And then corporate presence, there's about 31 Fortune 1000 companies in there: Home Depot, UPS, and Coca-Cola. The climate in Atlanta, if you haven't been there, it's subtropical. And so there's year-round maintenance, hardscaping, et cetera, that is just booming in that area. Commercial and retail spaces, they're growing as the city expands. So that means that shopping centers, office spaces, hotels are reinvesting in landscaping services to have that appeal for customers. Now let's talk about the landscaping industry as a whole. So it's fragmented, meaning a lot of like your high schooler can basically do landscaping. And so they're not going to have any processes or systems in place. That's why it makes it fragmented. So most of these mom and pop shops are smaller. They're unviable for most buyers, such as hedge funds, family offices. So this makes it very ripe for us as buyers to come in to do a roll-up and then add on bolt-on services like irrigation, hardscaping, lighting, and tree service. So we can add extra services and then cross-sell those services between the two customer bases. And then in Atlanta itself, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry with growing demands as the city grows, obviously. And then as of right now, it has about 6 million folks that live there, and that fuels the services that we are providing. In the United States alone, it's estimated to be right under 190 billion in 2025 of this year. And then it's projected to grow right under 230 billion by 2030, just a 5-year span with a compound annual growth of right under 4%. Some emerging technologies that we end up finding is that people use drones to survey landscape, and then obviously AI is pretty prevalent in the space in a lot of businesses. So we're using that to design hardscaping, landscaping services. Robot mowers, we haven't implemented that quite just yet, but we foresee that as being dropping it off, mow it a couple of yards, and then come back, pick it up, make it more efficient. And then automated maintenance equipment, make it more prevalent to repairs of fixes, lower cost, basically. So this is our offering. So it's a very simple offer. We're looking at between 600,000 to 1.5 million. Investor type is accredited. If you don't know what that is, just make sure you guys look it up.
So you guys have a fund?
We do have a fund.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have a fund. So we're either looking for a debt lender or an equity partner for an equity partner. But if you were a debt investor, preferred return is 9%. Equity partners are 20% of equity as a limited partner. And then securities, if you were a equity partner, you'd be part of the operating agreement. Debt invest lender will be a UCC1 filing. So basically liens on the business and the assets of it. Promissory note and personal guarantee. Happy to provide anything else that makes you guys secure as well, or feel secure. So some of the risks that I pointed out or that I found, and then by operating the business, and then some exit strategies here. So as you guys know, landscaping is a seasonal business. It's peaks in the spring and the summer, and then it kind of falls off in the fall and winter. So in Atlanta, it's a subtropical area, so we don't have that issue, but you'll find it more up in like the Northeast and the northern regions of the United States. Cash flow conversion cycle, this is always a pain in the butt with any business that I'm sure you guys know of. such as no late payments and no payments at all. So our solutions that we end up kind of coming up with in our L10 meetings or EOS meetings is that we like to get a security deposit for work to be placed on our calendar so we can go and do it. Combined with vendor and relationships, so we create net accounts, meaning, we pay for the materials maybe 30 to 60 days after we are done with the job. And then we implemented recently customer and company contract. It's having more stern writing in it where we can place liens on properties if payments have not been collected. And then the third one is labor shortage and high turnover. So in this industry here, it's like people will leave you for a buck. And so what we like to do is offer higher wages after we do the interview to nurture and retain talent. This is our exit strategy right here. So our exit is we're looking at a capital event between 5 to 7 years, either through refinancing through the SBA, selling to a family office or hedge fund. Our target revenue is 40 million at the end of the day. We're projected to be at $4 million this year. And then our net profit margins is at 15%. So this is our kind of my math here real quick. So about 6 to 6.25 million at 8x multiple gives you about $50 million as an exit in the next 5 to 7 years. So this is my team. So I don't do this all by myself. So I'm on the M&A side of things. So I generate the leads, underwrite them, and bring it to my team so we can structure the deal. Forrest over here, he's a bodybuilder, very sexy man. By the way, if you ever see his Instagram, it's also pretty scary too as well. He oversees the marketing and operation side of things. He basically built the team, and he has his own marketing agency. So he's the marketing side of things. He actually he funnels all the leads, including the talent as well. So he believes that finding talent is another form of marketing. And he's basically built this whole team, like I said, and he owns other companies as well. Next, we have Justin. He is our general manager. He manages all of our stuff with our landscaping. He brings over 10 years of management relationship. And between these two guys, they're both bodybuilders, if you guys can't really tell. So what Forrest did was they're friends and they lived in Pennsylvania before. And so to find a really trustworthy general manager, he saw Justin in another job that's working his butt off and didn't get the value that he was basically considered getting. And so what he did is told Justin, hey, move down to Atlanta, start from the bottom of my landscaping business. Here's the roadmap for you to be a general manager and then eventually earn into the business. And so that basically drove Justin to take responsibility for everything within our company. He reports in our EOS meetings, L10, and we have like trackers on what he does. So he's a great operator and he's been like on point with everything. Noble Jolly is also in Subto. So he's my partner on the mergers and acquisition side of things. So we are talking to sellers almost every day in regards to finding more opportunities. And then this is our fractional CFO, Ben McAdams. He's based out of Australia. He's also part of Forrest's network. So he manages the books. He's helped over 2,000 business owners bring clarity to their numbers. So that's the team. And this is my contact information right here. If you guys wanted to reach out. And then that is it.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of things. Atlanta is by far the greatest landscaping opportunity on the planet because not only is it year-round, the temperature and things grow, that place is a freaking jungle.
I know.
There's more trees per square mile than anywhere else in the country. It's the most it's the most like densely populated for trees, forests, etc. You guys also have a major vine problem.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever, anybody here not been to Atlanta? The next time you drive to Atlanta and you go to Atlanta, anybody that's been to Atlanta, drive down the freeway, you'll see every tree is being attacked by vines. These are actually invasive vines that the landscaping company have to come and cut those vines off the trees because the vines are actually, the species specifically goes up the tree and kills the tree and brings it all the way to the ground. This was a vine that was brought from some other part of the country that was not supposed to be in Atlanta. It is everywhere. It is everywhere. There's endless opportunity in landscape. Endless opportunity. Like Atlanta is endless.
I should show you the org chart that we have. Oh, so this is our company right here, Blue River Landscape, and then we just bought Ken Mullen like basically 2 weeks ago. So we acquired Blue Ribbon Landscaping January 2nd, 2024, right after the New Year's. We grew it 121%. We had 1 employee. We grew up to 15 employees, and we implemented sales, marketing, and website. And then the first year of this is just basically building infrastructure. That's all we were doing. So everything we made, we just reinvested back in the business in hopes of just basically growing it. And we have another one on the way too, as well. So we're closing another one through an SBA at the end of this month or beginning of April. So we're actually constantly finding deals. And these are the basic deal example that we're looking at as far as what our initial deals are looking for, hunting for. So asking price usually $1 million, revenue $3 million, cash flow based off 15%, $250K. We would like to have some seller finance. Obviously, there's a lot of seller finance in the M&A space, 10 employees, and then this is kind of what the structure I would kind of build out. But open to suggestions in regards to what might fit best for the equity partner or debt lender. And then lastly, this is like our org chart right now. So we have Forrest's company right here, all the back-end marketing, the human resources, the technology side of things, all feeds into all the other companies that we have right now. We have an irrigation arm that I'm not a part of, but they've already bought that services the other crew. So we have the construction management crew, which is the Blue Ribbon Landscape, because they're mostly focused on construction. The maintenance is Ken Mullen that we just bought. So we moved all our maintenance contracts over to them. And then our sales manager just handles all the sales for all these other companies.
I like how you've divided out the companies because landscaping is not landscaping.
Yeah.
It is so diverse, right? There's some people that do maintenance and they refuse, like my guy that does maintenance on my house refuses to trim my trees.
Yeah.
Bro, I'll just pay you. I'll pay you. No, that's not what I do, is what he says.
Yeah.
So I have to go get a tree trimmer to come to the property, et cetera. He's like, nope, I do one thing and I do one thing only.
Yeah.
Zippity-doo-dah all day long. I'm just getting the thing done. So you broke it out into 3 segments, which is great, which means as you guys are going out and merging or acquiring, you go acquire another maintenance company, it's going to go underneath that one, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. On the construction side, you guys are doing new home builds, or are you guys doing like landscape projects where somebody says, I want a water feature and I want a this and a that. Which means you probably have a designer in there, a consultant, et cetera.
Yeah, so the construction side of things is mostly right now, it's all existing customers. So since we just bought the new maintenance contracts or maintenance company, they actually had customers that wanted hardscaping. And then we're like, oh, perfect, we'll just cross-sell.
Love it.
Makes it easy. And then we just cross-sell everything else in between.
Okay, so one thing, and I'm sure you're already thinking of this, you're a smart guy, and you have limited time on stage. So
Yeah.
first and foremost, phenomenal, great job. The thing that you probably have thought about is it's crazy how much of a multiplier pest control has.
Yeah.
And think about, you're already at their house.
Mhm.
You're dealing with what happens when you trim your trees, mow your lawn, et cetera. In Arizona, do we get creepy crawlies come out?
Yeah, and I wish someone would just do the same damn thing. And would you just do the pool too?
Yeah.
Give me the gold service or whatever. I don't
Right.
care.
Yeah, like I would love to pay one company that just does my pest control and my landscape. Almost like you come landscape on Friday, pest control happens on Saturday, because when you trim the trees here in Arizona, scorpions go everywhere.
Yeah, it's like your recent story.
Yeah, that was on the house. So I imagine, I know this because you guys have mosquitoes, you have all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I imagine you guys are probably looking at maybe a pest control acquisition as well to add as a bolt-on, because that's a cross service that literally every single maintenance contract you have
Mm-hmm.
should have you guys doing their pest control as well.
Yeah.
And that multiplier on pest control, I was talking to the gentleman who owns A1 Garage Doors. He just sold his company. He's selling A1 Garage Doors. He sold half of it for $250 million. He's selling the other half for $2.2 billion.
Oh, so
Garage repairs. And he's like, I've been looking at where I'm going to deploy my capital. He's like, I'm going to deploy my capital in pest control because the multiplier is so massive, right? Profit margin, et cetera.
yeah,
So
it is.
I imagine you'll probably go down that route.
Yeah, we thought about that.
I love what you're already doing. It's freaking amazing. I write you a check for $100,000. I'm coming in as an LP, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you paying quarterly, yearly, monthly? Quarterly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said a 10 pref?
We can make it for 10 for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
for you. Because you're handsome.
Okay. And my horizon to get my capital back is 5 to 7 years.
Yeah. unless
Okay.
we do a refinance event, we could talk about what your needs are or wants are. And then we
Okay.
could kind of structure that into the deal.
Amazing. Now, for those of you guys that are paying attention to this, what's so cool about these opportunities, they're all so different. How many people in the side, in Zoom or in YouTube, how many people at some point are like, I want to own a landscape business. I want to do something that Philip Ty is doing. Okay. You got like, hey, Jodeci, good to see you, brother. So that's actually the Jodeci, the
Yeah.
music that used to make that with girls in back of cars with. That's the Jodeci.
He's in my market.
Really?
No,
Okay.
but he's cool. He's cool anyway.
I mean, you never know.
You never know. He's like, come on, Pace. So if you guys are into that, like when I invest in things that either A, I'm excited about because I'm passionate about it, or B, I want to learn more about it. Right. And so if you were partners, like you were an LP in here, what's cool about it is that these guys are so dialed in. You'll get a freaking master's degree in building a business just by being an LP with them. Like, think about that. It's not just about, yeah, I have the ability to earn. I also get to learn. I get to watch what these guys are doing and actually be kind of a partner. Now, am I in there making a decision? No, but they'll hire you as a landscaper. Okay, but you should be looking at these opportunities if you're saying, I want to own a business like this one day. It is better, okay? It is better for you to deploy capital right now into a deal like this and learn, watch what they're doing, glean from them. I'm sure you guys would have investor calls maybe once a quarter. Here's what we're
They
doing.
could jump on to the L10 if they really wanted to.
Oh my gosh. Like that is bro, people charge, I have a buddy that sells a buying business mastermind. It's like $60,000 a year.
Uh-huh.
They don't let you in on their L10 meetings. So when you look at this, guys, and you have capital to deploy and you do want to ultimately buy businesses, if you want to see how an L10 meeting is ran, which is, tell people what an L10 meeting is.
So it operates on the EOS system, so the operating system. And so structure-wise, it's wins or gratitude, and then you go into your scorecard, like your metrics that you track on a day-to-day basis or a weekly basis, depending on how you structure it. And then you go into updates on different segments of the business, and then you go to IDS, which is to identify, solve issues. You give me issues, bring it up on there, and just basically that's it. And then you rate the meeting, and then you say, if it's below an 8, why? If it's anything above that, cool. It's basically very condensed, straightforward, and just straight to the point.
It's basically how companies run their company.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, who's in charge of what roles, responsibilities everybody's got. Oh, I see what that person is doing. Why is that? There's so many things you can learn by sitting in somebody's L10 meeting. So I would think about that from an investor standpoint is I'd go, I want to be an LP in this, but I also want to see the behind the scenes as you guys go build this thing. It's obvious you guys are going to go and crush this.
Yeah.
You already are. You're doing great.
Yeah, we're doing the thing.
So let's say Atlanta, I want to roll up. I'm going to rebrand all of this because you've got 2 different brands currently right now. Are you going to rebrand everything to the same company, or are you going to keep them separated to maintenance, et cetera, et cetera?
It's going to be Blue Ribbon Landscape at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yep. We just bought Ken Mullen, and we don't want to change anything quite just yet because existing customers might get frightened. And so we kind of want to ease into that transition, right? And then eventually when we go to package it all up to sell it, we'll just rebrand everything. And then the thing here, I'm sure you know this, Matt, we have different partners in different businesses. So the equity structure is a little bit different for each company. And so calculating how much one partner owns in this company versus another company is kind of like the next problem solving situation when we go to sell it. So.
Love that. I had a text message from Carrie in Owners Club today on my drive here. And she says, hey, I want to do more co-living.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, cool, that's amazing. And she says, should I go join a co-living mentorship? And I was like, why not just put your money in a co-living project? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to learn 1,000 times more by just deploying the capital into the project itself, right? And that's what's so cool about Owners Club members. Like, I could just go, hey, Phil, I want to learn how to go build a landscaping company at some point. I want to learn how to acquire and do all that kind of stuff. I go write a check for $100,000. Be an LP with you is 1,000 times better than going and reading a book, taking a course, joining a mentorship around basically it's a full blown like built-in mentorship around a company I get a check from.
Exactly.
One last thing, and then I'll let Matt chat. What I love about what you
Referring to, you know, letting you go.
risks, I love that you went into the risks. I think Becky and Tracy, you could have done this a little bit better. I failed to point that out, but when he pointed that out, I was like, oh my gosh, the risks and how you're handling them is so well done. Also, Courtney did not go into the risk either. So one thing I would add as future pitches is I would say, what are the risks? That was really good of you.
Thanks.
Matt, what say ye?
Yeah, this is great. I love again, I want to talk about business first, and then in the investment second, if you don't mind. So you start this out as a roll-up strategy. So is your strategy to go acquire, roll up the companies, multiple small landscaping businesses at a lower multiple, roll them up and get a higher multiple? Are you trying to do organic growth too? Or is it really primarily a roll-up strategy with a little bit of organic, or is it both?
Organic of
Like you're growing the business by getting more customers as opposed to rolling up and acquiring
it's both.
companies.
It's definitely both, because we're systematizing everything that needs to be systematized, and then adding our own system, CRM, marketing, sales, all into everything.
The first one, you doubled the revenue in the first year.
You went to
basically.
400 to 917. That was not a roll-up. That was actual sales in one individual company.
Yeah, we just wanted to prove the model, the thesis, and then like, okay, this all works. Let's just copy and paste in the next.
So when you go, but you're planning to buy like 10 other, 20, 50 other landscaping businesses in this roll-up.
Yeah. Or bolt-ons.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody understands the roll-up strategy. I just want to make sure everyone understands that is you buy smaller businesses that might have $1 million of revenue or $100,000 in profit, and those trade at a very low multiple of their profit, right? They might trade at 3 times or 5 times. They're just small businesses. You can do some seller carryback. They're easier to finance. But if you get, let's say, 20 businesses with $1 million of profit, now you got 20 million, you can get a 10 or a 15 or greater multiple, just because the buyers that want to buy up here will pay a higher multiple than the small businesses down here. It kind of went back to what Tracy experienced trying to sell her small business the first time was people are like, I'm kind of buying you and you're going to take the money and go. But if you're buying this, no, this is an organization. This is a real company with real profit, real less risk, of course. So you get like way more multiple. So people are doing this roll-up strategy across landscaping, pest control, dentists, physical therapy. I've helped so many clients sell into roll-ups, right? They want to sell them. They sell into someone rolling up their industry. So there's arbitration, multiple arbitrage there, which is great for you guys. You guys are the platform essentially, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me how you're doing that though with you mentioned like, let's say the next landscaping business, you buy ABC Landscaping. Is there a different ownership structure in each acquisition? Are they rolling back equity? The seller?
It's different. It's a restart of the table.
Okay, so how does that work? Maybe explain, or maybe the one you've already done, or like, let's say you're going to buy my landscaping business. You cash me out. Do I get any rollover equity as the seller into your guys' entity?
Oh, we want to cash the seller out ASAP.
You don't want them to roll on for the ride.
No, we don't want to. Because they're gonna have their own thing, right?
Yeah. Well, and you don't want them to participate in the equity later either.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then they're going to sell.
Unless it's a really good deal, unless they have a really good system already in place, then we'll consider like, hey, we'll buy 80% of your company, and then
because that's the strategy a lot of roll-ups do. Let's take like the dental example. That's big because the dentist is going to stay.
Yeah, of course.
That's the dentist stays, and they're drilling and billing tomorrow. They just and they own
drilling and billing. Why have I never heard that before?
Yeah.
Did you just come up with that?
I think I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I might have stolen it. I don't know. So, but they retain some equity. Or there's 2 different models, or they get the rollover equity into the big company.
Yeah.
Right. So and that keeps them motivated to like join forces with you.
Of course.
But you're like, go away.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You're doing the buyout. I can see that.
Yeah.
You're just buying them out.
Yeah. The I guess what I was making more clear is that the team that we have, we are all invested into the new company. And depending on if they want to buy in, it's going to be structured differently based on how much you invest in the company, is what I'm.
Okay, okay, yeah, maybe let's get to the investment.
Put your screen back up that has your contact information up there, by the way. Don't leave it on the non-contact information, just from a marketing perspective, my
Thank
friend.
you.
The other thing too, I like the couple of you guys had QR codes up here.
Yeah.
Phil, the other thing too is that's not you. I don't think.
I mean, in a past life, in my.
Maybe in your heart you are. If it was me, from a marketing standpoint, QR code for sure.
Yeah.
I normally would not do a QR code, but you guys gave me that idea. I like that. I would have you like, you know, I don't know, holding like raking leaves or doing something.
Yeah, I love that. None of us work in the business, by the way, except for the GM. So we had our initial intention. Built a team to just
the structure of your team is impressive.
Yeah.
And I'm pissed off that you are not rebranding the name of the company Forest Services or something.
Yeah.
Because your CEO's name is Forest, right?
I know.
They just
Can't really
see the forest through the trees.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say an investor, so I want to go what the investment opportunity is. And I kind of got lost on it, I have to say. So I know you're going fast and I'm trying to understand the business first, typically, before I'm trying to understand the investment opportunity. So if someone's like, all right, I want to put 100K into this, and you had two options, how does that look for me? What do I get?
Okay, so yeah, 100K, let's say 10% return. Obviously, you get preferred return. That's just like securities and interest payment. It's basically, it's like a very debt.
So it's a debt structure. I don't have any equity.
No.
Okay, so I'm getting 10% return on my money, or I think you had 9% on the deck, 10%, whatever. So, all right, and like that's a loan.
It's basically a loan, yeah.
Okay.
Loan on the you get a UCC1 filing, and then promissory note. Personal
Okay, how long is the term on that?
So we're looking at 5 years, but I mean, if you need your money cashed out, then
you'll refinance them out with
you'll
somebody
refinance,
else.
yeah, exactly. So if we grow the business like 100% year over year, I mean, you're going to be cashed out probably easily in 2 years if we.
But you do have like an offering document on this, right? Or what do you have?
We have
documents.
So Oak Valley Capital is our main fund.
Okay.
So all that we have, we can send that over to you if you want.
Okay, I'm still trying to understand it though. So that is a debt fund?
It's a debt fund.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I get no equity.
Equity.
It basically has, some people call it a coupon or something. It's got I mean, and seriously, they call it a coupon rate. It's like, I invest in it and the coupon rate is 10%.
Yep.
I have no equity.
Yep.
So it functions like debt, and you're like, and it's secured against equipment in the business, it sounds like.
Yep,
There's
AR too as well.
Okay, accounts receivable, that's cool. That's better than nothing. Okay.
Well, I'd rather have like an equity partner, which is a totally different structure per se.
So what's the equity partner?
You're just the owner. You're also like a limited partner.
Yeah. What does that look like though?
20%. Securities, I remember operating.
20% for the $1.3 million that you guys are looking for, or what do I have to put in to get the 20%?
Yeah, so it's a deal by deal basis. So
okay, so as you acquire a new company,
yep.
So the companies you're acquiring, you guys are buying them between 600 and 1.2 million, I think is what your deck said.
Yeah.
Every deal that you go and buy, or somebody comes in and covers the cash that's needed to cover that deal, they get 20%. They don't have to run anything. They're full passive.
Yep.
And they get 20% of the bottom line.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Okay,
That's
and
a
just
better
in that entity, that one you acquire,
Mhm.
how does that work though? Let's say that's landscaping maintenance is the next one you buy, right? You're giving up 20% of that for the cash injection you need. You guys like, we're operating it. We found the deal. But then doesn't that go into everything else that you're doing? Like it's just let's say it's in Atlanta, it's another group, your same maintenance team's working that. How do I know the cost structure? Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't have 20% of anything outside of this.
Right.
I'm just in on this entity.
Yep.
How does that work?
So every entity is different. We silo every entity. We have different books of entities. So
Okay, you run financials on each separate little acquisition and entity because you have a different cash investor in each.
And then the part that we are going to be struggling or not struggling with, need to resolve, is when we do everything and combine and then sell it to that. So that we're looking for a who, not how situation.
Mhm.
Because how do I know my value, what I would get paid out from that? Because you're gonna sell it as an everything deal, right? And what's the value of this one versus the one over here?
Yeah,
Like
'cause if
Case
you've
went out
got
on
a-
number 5,
Mhm.
I'm the guy on number 6.
Mhm.
What?
And you've got a sales guy, like a sales manager on your org chart
Mhm.
that's going out and landing new contracts. How does he put them into Matt's contract or Matt's portion because Matt's cooler than me? Or does he put them in mine because I'm sliding the sales manager some back
Yeah.
pocket money? Hey, put it into my chart because I want my 20% to grow and not Matt's.
Right.
Is there protection on that, or we have not thought that all the way through yet?
We haven't thought all that through yet.
Okay.
But we're open to a who on
Okay.
that position. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could raise the money. Now, the interesting thing is like your net profit on landscaping is pretty good. You guys are 15%, I think, net on usually on a landscape company. So if you guys get to a point where you bring a who in that brings in a couple $1,000,000,
Mhm.
you guys could turn that couple $1,000,000 every couple of years, meaning you would never need another investor. You would just continue to use that money. The profit would infuse into the next acquisition, et cetera. You're just not quite there yet. You need somebody to prime the well for you, or prime the pump for you and go, hey, we need a cash infusion to go buy the next 7 businesses. The profit from those roll-ups makes it so we don't need another investor. We could use that profit to go buy the next 7 businesses is really what you need.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And that for that okay, got it. I mean, it's probably one of the most exciting types of businesses. It's one thing that is truly safe from AI for at least 20 years, probably.
Yep.
AI will actually improve this business model, not deplete it for the next 10, 15 years, because you'll have automatic mowers, you'll have tech that tells you what to do and when to go, and all sorts of really cool things, and route optimization and all the things that are happening. Prices won't go down.
They'll go up.
Prices will stay where they are, or maybe even go up, but your costs will come down a little bit because there will be less labor involved, better systems, et cetera. I think it's one of the more exciting opportunities. For me, I would want to be on the equity side. The challenging thing Matt is saying is like 10%. If I want a 10% coupon, I guess I have to be a specific type of personality, right? I have to be somebody who is, I'm using my retirement account, one of your clients, and I don't want to touch it for 5 years. Leave me alone. Don't even call me. By the way, does money grow on trees when you own a landscape company?
Of course. You could say so.
You get 100%.
A lot of green, baby.
A lot of green, dude. Right? You got basically these trees need to be trimmed. Of course, it's growing money. So you're looking for an investor that has a retirement account that doesn't want to go and find deals themselves, because 10% is not very attractive to the person that knows how to find deals. Obviously, you wouldn't do a 10% deal because you're a deal finder.
Yep.
I would have a hard time doing 10% because I'm a deal finder. There's a lot of people right here in the side chat that would do 10% because they're like, I'm not a deal finder yet.
Yep.
So for them, maybe what's good for them is like, I want 10% and I want to be in some of the meetings and I want to see how this goes so that when I do become a deal finder, I can go and do my own thing and I can make a lot more money. Or it's somebody who's on maybe the twilight 20, 30, 40 years of the back end of their life and they go, I don't want to do anything. I just want 10% of my money to be done. I have a portion of my money that sits. I have $1 million something that sits in something that gives me a 10% coupon. It's actually my favorite money I receive every month. I put it in Lone Ranger and they pay me 10% every single year, and I get a check for like $9,000 every single month.
That's amazing.
I'm like, oh, sometimes I forget where that money comes from. It's so simple. So that's the investor that you're looking for on that coupon side of things.
Exactly.
Okay.
If they just want to park their money and just not think about it.
You're more of an equity guy.
Yeah.
I want more equity
Yeah.
because if I can lend at 12 and 2 all day long, 2 points, fully secured, real property. And so if I don't get that or better on a lending deal, I'm kind of like, because again, you never make more than 12 and 2.
Right.
But on an equity deal, if they hit a home run, I get to participate. If your company hits a home run, you're like, here's 10%, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm like, and if you strike out, you're like, have some accounts receivable and collateral, So I'm like, it's a little trickier for me, but I love the equity on deals like this.
Yeah.
That's where I was going, where I'm trying to pin you down on what's the equity opportunity. You might be trying to go more debt, probably easier
I think
raise.
more equity is what we're looking for.
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
It's equity. I want to understand like the deal by deal thing was a little tricky because if you're gonna package for sale and you got the same operating team, which you got a good team.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand how that works. That's what I gotta feel.
Good.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to
So,
understand how that works.
Investors out there that are paying attention to this video, you gotta look here at the camera. You have to understand the difference between every avatar. Matt is a gamer, right? He plays the game. I'm a gamer, I play the game. We're divested. We're like, okay, I want to be, I'm diversified. So I'm in positions where I have money that is 7 years out. I won't even see it. I get a little bit of a check along the way and I get some big multiple on the back end. I've got some of those things. I've got money deployed in things that give me really decent interest, 10%, that I don't even have to think about it. And then I also have things where I can control it and I get, this is my war chest. I'm going to go to war to try and get as much as I possibly can. A lot of people are not that person, meaning I'm a gamer. I have the control. I know what buttons to push. I know how to negotiate on equity. I know how to underwrite deals. When Matt says I'm lending money easily at 12 and 2, 12% interest, 2 points, Matt's underwriting that deal. Matt's vetting that deal. Matt's doing the due diligence. Matt is taking the risk on those particular situations. Not everybody watching the camera. I do that as well, but not everybody watching this right now is like, oh, wait, maybe I should do what Matt's saying, 12 and 2. No. Matt has access to deals. Okay, people bring him deals. Do people bring you deals? If they don't, 10% is a phenomenal deal for you because you don't have to find the deal. They're doing all the work. And you're getting a 10% coupon every single year, basically, or monthly, quarterly, whatever you guys do. So you have to make the determination of who are you and how do you want to utilize your capital. Also, I don't want to be locked up for 7 years with all my money, but some of my money, I want to set it and forget it. I want to drill and bill, as they say. So yeah, it depends on who you are. And you guys have, when you're reaching out to Phil, your email, your Instagram. By the way, follow his Instagram. He's been really active the last while. He's very, very consistent. Phil@pinkelephantventures.com. I would reach out to him and have a conversation with him and say, this is what my personality is telling me I want. And I would ask, just because that's what he's offering doesn't mean that's what is the only way to go. You can reach out to him and go, hey, could I be in the debt structure for 6 months? And I bet you Phil would end up having a conversation with you and go, yeah, you can be in the debt structure for 6 months and I'll refinance you out or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal job, Phil. Good job, Phil.
Yeah,
Let's go. Amazing.
Looked good too.
Yeah, sharp, bro. You killed it.
Looking good.
Amazing. I love seeing different personality types. I love seeing, we did not have one deal that was anything like the other deal today, Luz. Whose doing was that? You and Bertie?
The team.
The team.
The team. Oh my gosh, I loved it.
The team.
Hey, Luz, there's no I in team, but there is a me.
That is
There's
true.
an
There
M.
is a.
It's okay. Yeah. I
Oh,
thought that
man.
was so cool. I mean, thank you for letting me come and do this, by the way.
This is all my excuse to get to hang out with you more.
Well, it's an honor to do this. And hopefully I say something smart every once in a while. And I want to invest some money. And, but I'm just impressed by what comes out of your guys' group. Like,
Thank you.
it was like awesome people here, quality deals, excellent presentations. Best Friday.
Yeah.
TGI Fridays on.
TGA Friday, let's go. Guys, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. This was a blast. We didn't market this at all, which is a lot of fun. We just get people from the community show up. We randomly go live on YouTube. When's our next one? You're changing the dates.
Well, you changed the dates on.
I am going to change the dates. I want to do it. I want to do it where, hi Ingrid, hi Roz, good to see you guys. When's our next golden ticket event? Okay. You want to check your calendar or do you need to talk
Isn't
to
that
them?
my self-directed IRA summit?
When's that?
I think April 20th.
Is that here?
It's in Dallas. Or no, Austin. We're in Austin. Oh, yeah. It's my self-directed IRA summit.
Okay, we won't do it that one then. When's the next when's the golden ticket right after that one, Sarabi? After April 25th? May 23rd.
Let's do it.
Do you have available on May 23rd?
Uh-huh.
Okay, we'll end up having 200 people in this room.
Sweet.
Okay, amazing.
Many. 4 or 2.
Presenters? I like having 4.
Really?
I
Okay.
wouldn't do anything less than 3.
Okay.
Are you trying to say that we take too long?
No, not at all. You don't interrupt at all, so no.
I'm not sure if he's being serious or not. Okay, so the one we'll promote and like make it big is May 23rd. We'll have a lot of fun with it. Guys, please, Matt, what's your Instagram? People can DM you and say thanks.
At Matt Sorensen with 1 T,
Okay, 1T,
M-A-T.
M-A-T, Sorensen, S-O-R-E-N-E-N-E-N,
S-E-N.
S-E-N.com. Matt Sorensen on Instagram. Go DM and take a screenshot and just say thanks, Matt. A guy who bills $7,000 an hour come and hang out with me and hang out with our community and drop the knowledge he did. Let's give it up for Matt Sorensen, please. Unbelievable. Thank you guys so
Truly
much. Birdie, Luz, and the whole team. You guys did a great job. All 4 presenters. You guys freaking killed it. Hey, can we get like high quality headshots of them on stage today? Like actual cameras, like as if they're presenting before we wrap up. We'll wrap up, but they'll stand on stage. I want to get some good shots of them. Guys, presenters, give everybody a round of applause, please. Thank you. Amazing. I just don't have enough money to deploy everything I want. That's the problem. I'm like, boom, 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 boom. I want to be involved in it all. Thank you, guys. We'll see you for Deal Makers number 3. When? No. That will be the big one. But the next one we currently have planned is what?
SquadUp.
Oh, the one at SquadUp Summit. Yes, he's coming at SquadUp Summit.
Yeah.
How many people are presenting at SquadUp Summit?
On 3.
3 people.
We're working through that, actually. Proposals were due today, so we're working on that.
Amazing. We will have 2,500 people. Fire Marshal tapped us at 2,500. That room will be jam-packed. We'll do the same exact thing. Amazing. And then the next live one we'll do where we're streaming.
Which is the one you just switched to Golden Ticket.
Amazing. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Gosh.